in his hidden colors. So I'm a all right fan of Tariq. So I'm gonna go watch it tonight and see what they talking about. We better worry about this new hip hop. That's what we need to be worried about. All these girls
The
talking all this.
laugh, I laughed when you said that. The new hip hop.
Yeah, that's what we need to
Yeah,
be
you're right about
concerned
that.
with. Dude, tired of these hoes. Sorry. I didn't mean to say that word, but
No,
they
you good,
killing
Mr.
our
Malone. You
kids.
have to say that.
They killing our kids mentally, yo.
Mm. So you're not a fan of the new female generation of hip hop? Are you a fan of any of those artists or no?
I don't like any hoes. Period.
Mm.
304s and all that foolishness. No, I don't like none of that. None of that. I don't know every hip hop artist. I like some of Megan's songs that ain't talking about her coochie. Glorilla got a gospel song I like. Like, come on, there's too much filth now. We need better than that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and they
But
still
they,
controlling
but
the
them
hip hop.
girls get.
Go ahead, sorry.
But I was just gonna say that them girls, they they're being coerced into doing that kind of stuff, or
Absolutely.
or or being paid to do that. You know what I'm saying? I think Sexy Red has came out of her, said out of her own mouth, like, this is what I get paid to do. This is my job. Like, it's her job to portray herself like that.
Mm.
So one
Yeah,
more.
well, that's who next we need to be on. Sure.
I kind of want to introduce Jeff. He came up on the panel. He's just waiting there all patiently. Jeff, you
Hold
know
on,
you
Jeff.
want. You got to press the mic icon. Just press it once, and it should unmute, and you'll be able to talk. He may not have. He may have been tapping and didn't realize he came up on the panel.
Brother Jeff, can you hear us? You there? Yeah, he might be away from his phone.
Oh
But
yeah,
yeah.
I'm here. What's up?
Oh yeah, what's going on, man?
Yeah, nothing. Just getting home from a doctor's appointment. It
Okay. Did you want to comment on the
was
last
good. How
prompt or you
y'all
want to
doing?
comment on this prompt? You want to comment on the last prompt or this one?
Actually, the last prompt. Yeah, I
Oh
didn't know
yeah, go
y'all
ahead.
just put this up. Like I said,
Yeah,
I just
I
got
just
in the
switched it.
house.
Yeah, I just switched it. Go ahead though.
Yeah. Yeah. Why? Oh, that last prompt that said, "Why is it that some black men or women fall head over heels over an accent? Why they why they
Over a
let
more
them?
attractive immigrant, pretty much. Like, the immigrant is more attractive. Sometimes, our people get a little enamored with him and he get a little off code, which can be dangerous to the whole.
Yeah, that is dangerous. Well, I can say that some of them they get off cold because you know how some black women say, like, some brothers will say, oh, so many sisters got so many attitudes, and then they prefer like like black women from the Caribbean or African women. I believe that's why. Well, whereas some black women they might prefer some some black men who are not FBA men because they feel like a lot of us, have a lot of baby mamas, or a lot of us don't want to take care of our children or whatnot. They believe that stereotype and they fall for that. I believe that's why. And thank you for the gift,
Okay.
whoever gifted me. That's all I wanted to say.
He just put that on FBA women.
No,
He
Jeff,
said,
clarify what you said about that. before BX rip your head off.
No,
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 I'm
no. I'm
joking.
saying
I'm
about.
joking because I
No,
do have
no,
half Caribbean children, so I'm kind of joking. I want to say this. I have a foundational Black American father that actually raised me. My grandmother, who is my biological mother's mother, gave me to my father to raise because he was the better parent. So I don't get up here and disparage Black American men. My father was a single father in the 70s. Okay, so single fatherhood to me, when the way y'all be talking about it today, I be like, well, what was they supposed to do? They supposed to take care of their kids. So if I dated a Caribbean man, you won't find me disparaging Black American men in public. What I say to my best friend is different, right? Because I'm gonna be like, this motherfucker dead. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does that. Well, maybe not everybody. Some people are private, but I do not disparage Black American men. I do not disparage the Caribbean man that I made children with. I think that everybody was in a different space in their time in their life, and a lot of things weren't known to us. I didn't know about no showers posse until recently. I just didn't know about them. You know what I'm
What
saying?
about you in the
That
90s?
sucks. I didn't know that they locked us out of home ownership when there was a form of segregation here. Like a lot of things that I'm finding out, they dropped the ball on us. Now, I also say we can have individual relationships with members of these other collectives. However, we have to understand collectively, their people aren't for us. And that's why I always stick to the government. And I don't understand why the Caribbean want to talk about me and my children as if the truth changes, right? The truth is they dropped the ball. The truth is, I'm willing to be friends with people, but you dropped the ball. My foundational Black American father raised me, him and his wife, and they always made sure I had a relationship with my mother, who's also Black American. So I'm Black American first, and even though we have these relationships, I'm not enamored by a Caribbean man that comes on the panel talking because of his accent. I'm judging him by his statements. Is he going to go along with the solution to make sure that our representatives treat foundational Black Americans more fairly? That's what I'm looking for. So this is you know, and I may not even be touching on your point right now, but for people who are wondering or feel like because I date this other ethnic group, I gotta be like on the fence. No, the fuck you don't, right? And anybody who is really for you, for the lineage, understand that without our ancestors, they wouldn't be in this country, is gonna pick the right thing, or they're not for us, period. So I just figured I'll put that PSA out there. And I'm, hey, story guy, because you don't really come up on the panels a
Hey,
lot.
darling, I'm happy to be here. Look, you know, all I saw is why do Tethers lie about? Let me just say this. I got excited. Look, everything matters. This is why. Listen, I'm 65, right? I'm in the streets at 7, 8, 9, 10. Think about that. So they can't tell me SHIT. All right. Also, I was one that I crossed the street. My friends would say, yo, man, why you hang out with them Puerto Ricans? So I got a relationship with Puerto Ricans. And for Puerto Ricans to say they created hip hop is the most funniest, craziest stuff to say. And when they do it, they make it bad for other Puerto Ricans because then we got to stomp you in the ground to make you see you ain't had nothing to do with creating. Now, and not Puerto Ricans, you say Puerto Ricans in New York City. Because you got Puerto Ricans in Florida too. They don't claim that stuff. I'll get to Jamaicans in a minute. So we all know, I'm repeating stuff, but I want to say it again. They tied the New York City area Puerto Ricans tied themselves so closely to our culture, they got lost. They stopped speaking Spanish, which is their Spaniard culture, and James Brown, all our Black pioneers who we copied. The Puerto Ricans, they don't know. They're just dancing. They're around us. So because we allowed, when they came out with these Beat Street movies, in the past, Black America, we were so confident. We said, we seen them giving credit to Puerto Ricans. We knew it wasn't true. But then when it started getting bad, we said, oh, they're actually claiming it. We had to put them down and stomp them out. Now let's get to with facts, with receipts. Now the Jamaicans, I ain't gonna lie, I like Puerto Rican culture. I'm cooler with Puerto Ricans than Jamaicans. I'm gonna say this, it matters. No, don't get me wrong, Jamaicans, they my people too, so I don't hate Jamaicans, I'm not saying that. Only when they go, I love everybody, and I really hate to do this to Jamaicans, because they look like, I hate doing it to them. I don't want to talk about Jamaicans, I don't want to talk about Haitians, but when I see what's going on, I say, okay, it's like playing the dozens. So y'all want to play the dozens, we're gonna stomp you out. I lost what I'm, oh, let me get back. Jamaican, they once I learned about their country, that Chinese run them, India, and they don't have no respect over there, it started making sense to me why they trying to claim hip hop. They don't got nothing else, man. So they go harder. They go harder. So they need to tie themselves to American culture, but not realizing, dude, once we research the receipts and we go back to James Brown and back in the past, it's clear y'all had nothing to do with it. And they'll make up these lies about sound system. They can't even afford sound system. Black Americans been had sound systems. But I'm gonna stop because this argument, I just want to get my vitriol. And yes, I have vitriol for any ethnicity to claim anything that my mama, my grandmama, my mother from Georgia, I'm from New York, my people from Georgia. And I love to say that the South is where the music comes from. And then people in New York, don't be stupid. Well, no, I'm not giving the South credit over the North. I'm saying our people from the South, James Brown, all that stuff. And then we went to New York and we became New Yorkers. We came from North Carolina. In fact, most of the hip hop pioneers are from the Carolinas. I studied it. They're from the Carolinas and they moved to New York City. Now, I'm gonna let it go. You Jamaicans, you Puerto Ricans, get out of our affairs or you're gonna get your feelings hurt more. I'm gone.
Okay, wait.
Fire.
It's important to note that the North did have a culture of its own. They have music here and stuff. You saying that the South migrated up and they meshed together? Is that what you're saying? And they brought elements like what Dizzy Gillespie? What did he create? Jazz, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Where he from?
All right.
No, I want you to
No.
sis. Wait,
King
sis,
Bolden created jazz.
Who?
King Bolden created jazz.
Where he from?
And he from New Orleans.
You damn right. It's the South. I'm born and raised New York. I love that raised New York. I'm giving the South credit because once you stop taking stuff from the crowd, South, you allow the Tethers to get in. Think about it. The Caribbeans, they don't have no roots in the South. So they can't claim.
Hold on, sorry guys. So you forgot that there was an enslaved population that in New York, the first body sold on Wall Street that they mixed in with the indigenous, like the Ramapo tribe.
I'm glad you. No, sister, you right. Hey, sis, I don't have. That's why it's good for us all to be together because just I can have like 80% information and 20 not on. So I'm ready to go with that. But what I want to do add is that the receipts say that ask almost every pioneer of hip hop, and you know the first thing they'll say is James Brown from Augusta, Georgia. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying New York blacks. No, they were black. I think I'm still tracing my father. I can't trace my fathers to the South. My father, I'm thinking they family was enslaved in New York. But the music, the music comes from the South. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying black people in New York didn't do music. The music that we have today, that we glorify worldwide, is from the South. And to anybody who want to add that bongo Congo,
no, I'm not adding the bongos and the Congos. I just don't want the ancestors who were enslaved here, who had the 1712 slave revolt, the 1741 slave conspiracy, like the ones who were attacked by the Irish in the 1863 draft rights, to be forgotten.
Wow.
They had a culture.
Thank you, sis. Thanks for giving me that's why it's important for us to be together and not fight, because you give me information. So now I'll take more time in the future to include the Northern, because I know about them, but usually when I'm talking about music, the music that we know today is from the South, unless somebody tell me otherwise. And even D.D. Chandler, he invented the modern drum set. I forgot where he's from. Y'all research. We didn't. The modern.
Yeah, he from Louisiana too.
Here goes Simon to take over. Okay, Simon, you already know how I feel. I just don't want the Northern ancestors to be forgotten. Before the South, the Caribbean, and the Latinos started migrating to New York, if we were here since 1626 with the Dutch, then we had a culture. What it is that we have to find the culture. We're still finding burial grounds.
BX, that's not the BX, but that's not nobody's erasing the North. He's literally saying the music that we use today, and the music we use today, the rhythm comes from our drum set, and our drum set was created by D.D. Chandler, and that's from the South, and a lot of
Where's D.D. from?
D.D. from Louisiana, if I'm not mistaken.
Thank you. Okay, so you know what our assignment is if we choose to take it, and it might take me a while to do it. I'm gonna know what New York, what style or what genre, because people tell me ragtime and bebop, but when I check bebop's date is after the South migrated up. I
Yeah.
gotta be honest. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It wasn't all right. So when you start thinking about Sister BXL, I respect you, right? But when you start thinking about your northern ancestors, you have to the way that Martin Luther King and them thought that they were gonna get reinforcements when they let all these tethers around. It's because when our ancestors migrated up from the south to the north, they were that true reinforcement to the north. And so it played out like, oh, shoot, our people came up and they really did stand on reinforcement business, right? And so I feel like they try to rehash that, regenerate that type of reinforcement again when it came to the civil rights bill because King and all of them, they were from the South, but they did come up to New York. You know what I'm saying? They was with MX and everything, so there was a lot of reinforcement being shown. But what they thought was that the immigrants had that same type of reinforcement backbone, and they were
Yes.
wrong, right?
Yes.
So when it comes to our music, also, you got to understand, down south was cooking. They was already cooking, and then
Cooking.
as we started migrating to Chicago, New York, some went to LA, depending on where your family came from, there was a reinforcement rebellious spirit coming out of the South because it's natural because the Confederate States were majority in the South. And so you did have to have a certain type of on you, even though the northern states were, they was bastards too. I'm just saying, like, for you to start,
Oh, don't forget
for,
even pregnant women. Hold on. I'm gonna
I'm not,
shout out why Black American women are deemed as being aggressive. If you research
I
in
didn't bring up,
1712,
okay.
I did well. I'm out here now. I'm on the limb, and I got to stay on here till the bitch breaks, right?
I like
So,
that. She on the limb. I like. Hold on. I'm gonna use that shit. I'm on the limb, and I
so no.
like
Here's
that
my
shit.
thing.
I'm on the
And
limb.
during the 1712 slavery vote, if you research it, there were pregnant women who were reprimanded for taking part, right? They had to literally give birth before whatever punishment was given to them was given. That's all. And I think that we had in the North that when you say fighters and stuff, yes, Simon, we were fighters up here, even our women. And I think that their spirit lives in us, and that's why they think New York women are so damn aggressive. Not saying that the South didn't have fighters there. Of course they did. Of course they did. But what I'm saying is ours isn't talked about enough. And New York women are always put down for being aggressive. Well, God damn it, we got a reason. Our ancestors was up here banging it out in the 1712 slavery book. That's all, y'all.
Yep.
I just wanted to put that out there. Go
I
ahead,
put it like
Simon.
I
Well,
put it like
just
this. I
just
hate.
just
Wait, wait,
just,
wait,
just
wait.
to add to you.
Let me clear this up. I would hate for our people to think that the northern states was some type of Disneyland. It wasn't Teletubby land. It just happened to be the Union. It was still just as prejudiced. It was still just as it was still racist. They just had it. They just weren't their location. This is geographic. The only reason why the North was slightly less racist than the South was geographic location. The land in the North, it wasn't as fertile as the South, so they could not economically use
Ooh,
the
good point.
use the slaves in the
Wow.
way that the Southerners were able to use them. It was pure geographical because up here in the north, when you ride through a lot of our towns and our small cities, what you're gonna see is you're gonna see a bunch of walls, right? Little walls through our highways. But these walls are made of stone. Well, guess what? All of those stone begin in the ground. And I'm talking boulders. We have boulder, how do you say it? Boulder fences, like boulder gates. And what happened was, wait, hold on real quick.
I like
Yeah,
these black people.
but I was gonna say was that even though the South was quote unquote reinforcements for the North during the 40s and you know what I'm saying, during the Renaissance era and all that, it was the North who was reinforcements for slaves during the slavery period, because
Hold on, Kang. Wait, hold
you
on. My
got
bad.
you have to
Wait.
remember that William Taylor is the father of the Underground Railroad, and he's from New Jersey.
But let me finish what I was saying, right? Because this Boulder, if you from the north, you in the tri-state, New York, Jersey, Massachusetts, like Connecticut, Rhode Island, when you drive through your smaller towns or even like your highways, look into the woods, right? Look into the woods. You're gonna see a fence. Well, we call it a fence, but it was really like a wall. And those walls that's like ancient um it's like ancient home borders. Like, oh, this is my house, this is my section. Those boulders that marks that boundary, those boulders came out of the ground. Those boulders came out of the ground because at first the North was trying to use slaves to do the same type of crop shit that the South was doing. But what happens in the North when you start digging, you run into boulders. We got a bunch of boulders in our ground. And so what they did, that's why we have a bunch of stone buildings up here. So what they started doing was they would reach into the ground and they started taking the boulders out. They would ship them off to make cement and brick. That's why we got a lot of brick buildings up here, historical brick buildings. But secondly, they were trying to match what the South was doing. They were trying to get the
Simon, something's wrong with
soil.
your mic, bro.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
might
Mike.
be.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of
it's like
static coming from you.
static.
Hold on,
I'm
let
gonna
me
do
put.
this while he get his mic together. Remember, I said people probably just didn't like what was going on in the North, the culture that was here, because we were considered uppity because of the Dutch, right? And
Yep.
so Revolutionary put a comment down, right? And she says New York is ballroom and there we go, cakewalk and ballroom dance music is New York and influenced the swing era. And you know what? Cakewalk and ballroom does sound a little bit, what others would call Thank you, Revolutionary. I've been asking and asking. I've been looking and looking. And everybody would tell me BX is hidden. BX is hidden. And here comes Revolutionary giving me my answer. The ancestors said, let my child rest and let her know what we were doing. So now we could continue. Go ahead, guys.
Okay, all right.
I don't know
Yeah.
if my mic is better.
Hey, maybe before can I say something? Can I say something before I go, y'all? I don't want to take over.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Because I don't want to beat a thing in the ground, but there's so much us Black Americans, and we such a great people. Oh my God, we do everything. But the hip hop thing, I'm gonna leave soon. But I kind of I really wanted, I was hoping for a Puerto Rican or Jamaican to come on and tell, because I want to get this shit out, this stuff out the way, because it really, remember, hip hop saved me. I'm that kind of guy. I mean, when hip hop came out, I was so happy. So to see these people, when hip hop came out, remember, I hung up with Puerto Ricans, and the Jamaicans, I didn't even know who they was. I knew Puerto Ricans in New York. I'm gonna give Puerto Ricans credit. Puerto Ricans in New York were Jamaicans. But remember, I'm 65. Started seeing Jamaicans around 15. Hip hop, somebody said hip hop already created. So we doing our things, but I want y'all, because some of y'all don't know, because we don't know. We go, oh, I didn't know where I'm. We need every single Black American, the kids, to be offended when foreigners claim your stuff and your music. And some of the Caribbeans, they might really believe they helped it, so that's different. They got to learn too. And some of the Puerto Ricans, they might really believe that but we got to check them, and we don't need no disrespect. Hip hop is ours. I remember when hip hop came out, hold up. You know something, y'all? I sold mixtapes in Patterson, New Jersey in about 1995. Do you know that this one? Listen to this carefully. Mixtape. Y'all know what mixtapes are. People from New York mixtapes. A lot of artists would come out, mostly rappers, before their songs come out, and they would have maybe the Locks, or it might be DMX. First time I heard DMX was mixtape. So a lot of Black artists, a lot of hip hop artists. Do you know 90%? y'all listen to this, of my customers who would buy tapes, my Puerto Rican brothers. They was like New York kind of. Yo, what's up? Yo, what's up? What up, Shy? Yo, what tapes you got? And the Puerto Ricans, I sold more. They studied us, and I loved it. But they would never buy my R&B tapes. See, I would buy R&B tapes, but my hip hop, mixtapes with R&B like Jagged Edge, blah blah blah. And I had the hip hop tapes. God is my witness. 90% of my customers who bought, and I sold a lot of. I would go to Harlem. I forgot the spot, and I would go to the spot. I got DJ Clue, all them, and I would go to Patterson and Passaic, and my Puerto Rican dudes was like, "Yo, what's up?" And they bought these hip hop songs, no Puerto Ricans on them. Y'all keep that in mind. Who created hip hop? I'm going because I'm gonna stop talking and try to get off here. I'm 65. I want let a Puerto Rican and Jamaican tell me y'all created hip hop. Verbally, I'm gonna box your head up. But verbally, I'm gonna throw body shots to you. Verbally, I'm gonna uppercut you, and you gonna say, "Man, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, I claim it." And the Puerto Rican's gonna say, "Hey, man, sorry, I claim it." Yeah, I don't play that stuff. I'm sorry for being crazy. I'm from New York, man. I ain't trying to hear that. I'm sorry, y'all.
No problem. I know this is your topic.
That's my topic.
Oh yeah, and I definitely want to speak on this prompt.
It's my topic.
Go ahead. And then we could go back to the top because I see Basic. He was there. Go ahead.
Okay. Why do Tethers lie about who created hip hop? Because there's some jealous, non-talented bastards. That's why.
There you go.
Two Tethers I damn sure want to speak about. Fat Joe and Busta Rhymes. I don't like either one of them. I used to like Fat Joe until he started disrespecting us FBAs. When we asked him to stop using the N-word, he's like, why would I want to stop using the N-word? I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up in the projects in the South Bronx. I use the word all the time. I grew up around black folks. I'm gonna keep using it. And then in some interview he did with some West Indian tether, what was it? Late last year, early this year, he's like, "Oh, these FBA niggas."
Yep.
I feel like, you know what? I done lost all respect for him because he admitted to being a white, brown-haired, green-eyed Puerto Rican dude growing up in the Bronx. So you white, even though you Hispanic, you're a white Hispanic of Spaniard descent. Yep. So you white, you automatically know off the rip, we don't approve of white people using the N-word, even if you grew up with us. And Busta Rhymes, his punk ass, I remember in one interview he said a couple of years ago, he said, "Oh, Black Americans, we ain't got no talent." We ain't got no talent. Why you?
He didn't just say that. He said we don't got no talent and they got all they shit they got from us. Oh, I can't stand him. When that horse face, when I saw him say that, I said, "You." So
yeah,
everything
exactly.
y'all get, and I want to recruit the South. That's why I want to bring, because a lot of us New Yorkers, we compromise. We live around them. That's why they don't say nothing. I'm telling you why. If you live in New York, it's really hard. You ain't gonna speak hard. We need people out of New York. That's why I want the South. People in New York, I mean, some of them they speak, but they ain't gonna go that hard because they got Puerto Rican friends. My brother got Puerto Rican. I got Puerto Rican nieces. I don't want to hurt their feeling. I got Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. If they knew the stuff I said, their heart would be broken. That's why I had.
But it's not about her. Wait, time out. See, now,
Let me tell you something.
It's not about. Hold on. It's not about hurting their feelings.
Right.
You're hurting. Wait. No, you're hurting them by not telling them the truth. Because
No, I speak hard.
I'm not saying that. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not about. It's not about. You can say it in a different way, but it's about at least giving them the tools of truth and letting them go into that research themselves. Because then later on they'll come back to you and be like, "Yo, you was telling the truth. Yo, Black Americans did that side of me." Like that's what they want. They are looking for the truth, but because adults feel like the children can't handle the truth, these kids is handling the truth way better than how a bunch of adults is at this point. These kids is raised with social media, so they're gonna get the truth in a raw way, real disrespectful, or you could introduce them to it in your way. But the truth is gonna be thrown at your kids or your nieces or your family members, your younger generation's face, regardless. Social media is a new third parent that people didn't expect to be. It's literally the radio in everybody's ear, like live radio. That's just what it is.
Simon, make sure we friends with you, man. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes I need all these people on. Sometimes my oldness forget how to do this because these are the people. And let me. I must make it short. Simon,
Just
you're
follow
right.
BX. Yeah, just follow BX.
I
And
follow. What
wherever
I was saying,
BX at,
Simon.
I'm usually where BX is at. I ain't gonna hold you.
Okay, I wasn't saying that I'm not telling. I want to make sure I clear what I'm saying. No, I make sure I teach them. But what I'm saying is, when I get online, I'm not nice about it, and I'm tired of being nice about it. That's what I'm saying. So I'll start saying stuff like Neanderthal blood. I'm just letting you know that. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to say that to them. I ain't pulling. Once it come a fight, I'm not playing no more.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, they need to know that, yo, they got a uncle that's raw. Like, they
Okay,
can't
got
be
it,
like,
got it,
and
got it.
that's what I'm saying. Like,
I got
it's not time to be hiding who you really are from nobody at the end of the day. If you ask me, you know what I'm saying? Because these people, the kids, especially the generations underneath us, they're running into a bunch of different personalities, and they need to know how to react without having to get physical. But if they know
it.
that, but if they know that they could respond with speech patterns, they may have to put on your speech pattern one day, because that's what's needed for somebody to actually respect the stance that they in. But when it comes to defending the Black American heritage side of their lineage, and even telling other Puerto Ricans, nah, yo, yeah, I'm half Spanish and I'm half Black American, I'm half foundational, and I can't hold you. My Puerto Rican side ain't do shit. My foundational Black American side did, and you don't get to claim that shit. It's two different things. That's just like a respect thing. We failed. You feel me? Our culture failed at Pan Africanism. It's a failure. It was a failure Bible that we had to burn up and put that shit into the fireplace. We moving forward without Pan Africanism, so that's really what it is. It's like, I get it, being around a bunch of different ethnic groups and all that shit, but it is what it is. Things change. But I land, bro.
Good
Basic,
stuff.
you want to enter the conversation before I give my submission?
Yeah, sure. What's going on, everybody?
Hey.
So when it comes to hip hop, I don't normally really get into the conversation. I'm from the South. To me, New York hip hop is a New York thing to me.
It's a Black American New York. I'm gonna say that. It's because this the problem that them Tethers be doing. And I seen him. I'm like, oh, that's what they're trying to do. They say, yeah, hip hop and New York culture, because they want to separate Black American New Yorkers from their roots. Then they could claim it. But
Exactly, brother.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, that's right. So the New York culture, but that culture, that hip hop, it didn't just start in New York out of the poof. There were people there who did it, and those particular, I can name them. Disco King Mario. I can name a whole bunch of them. My mind just get too thrown off. I'm gonna tell you something. As a New Yorker who used to brand, look, I'm a New Yorker. I changed. I used to put down the South a little bit. Not totally, because my mother from the South. Like, yeah, I was an arrogant New Yorker. I was. Yeah, New York. I was on that stuff. But I stopped doing that years ago. So then, even now, I realize what happened. Yeah, we tend to get arrogant in New York. That's the culture. But it's Black American New York culture. It ain't New York. If you say New York culture, then the Puerto Ricans and the Jamaicans can slip in there. It's New York culture from Black Americans, mostly from the South. And when I say mostly, I'm talking about the music. I understand. I gotta talk about the music I know. When you show me some music
It's okay.
show me
You
some
can say
music
it
from
now,
New York,
'cause
and
I
I'll
found
stop
the
saying
genre that
from the South, music from the South. But until you show me music beginning, I gotta go to the root, and that separates the
All
Tethers
right,
in New
cool.
York.
All right, cool. So,
He's
all
just
right, so
hyped.
let me.
No, I'm
Yeah,
fine.
I
Leave because I get
understand.
too hyped. Hey, I love y'all. I got something to do anyway. I love you.
Love
Yo,
you too. You ain't got to leave, but just let him get his statement out.
Yeah, I
That's
got
all.
shit out.
Family, you don't gotta leave, bro. You stay there.
All right, cool. I'll be quiet.
I'm here. I'm listening, baby. I love it. This is good. This is like church to me.
All right. So I get what you're saying, but I'm talking about hip hop itself. I believe it's a New York thing. And New
It is.
Yorkers, whether they are Black Americans or whether they are foreigners or whatever, in my experience, New Yorkers have always looked at themselves as as a separate entity and didn't care about ethnicity or none of that. From my experience,
He's
which
right.
is why there was like this divide. Because when I
Oh, your
came across
facts.
New
Say for
Yorkers, it was
yourself.
like, huh?
Story guy said he's right, and I'm saying say for yourself. Say for yourself. Go
Yeah, for
ahead.
me, yeah, no, he's right about no. That's the thing we got to separate. Some of us, he's right. Some of us, we really got, and some of us, we got caught up in the New York thing. I'm gonna let you know that though. I did. I was
Yeah, I
arrogant.
mean, that's my experience. Like New Yorkers, they pretty much like it didn't really seem like ethnicity or none of that really mattered to people that was from New York. It was just about whether you was from New York or not, or whatever. Which is why I believe is why New York like used to have issues with people down south and people out west and stuff like that because it was just all about New York. Um, Now, when I do get into any type of conversation about hip hop, I usually just go into the things that we were doing down south, like rapping, certain music and things like that, because you do have people outside of our people who try to make claim to certain aspects of hip hop, which I will never let them do because there are certain aspects that were birthed in the South. So that's my only thing with it. Like, what y'all did with hip hop in New York, I don't really get into it because I've never been to New York. I don't know nothing about New York. New York is just is a different place to me. Um
So
but
you don't have family here in New York, basic?
no,
No.
man. Mm-mm. My
Okay.
my my family that left the South went to Detroit.
Okay.
Um, so other than Detroit, I think the only people I may have some. I think I got some family in Kansas City, if I'm not mistaken. But all my folks is in the South, Mississippi, for the most part. So no,
Okay.
I don't, I never really met nobody from New York, to be honest with you, in like in real life. You know what I'm saying? And we had a run in. Memphis had a run in with some New York people some years ago on YouTube because New Yorkers were trying to say that we stole something from them and we had to shut that shit down. Now I
Can I ask
do
you a
like
question?
I've noticed that New York got this arrogance where y'all feel like y'all like created everything black and shit. You know what I'm saying? So we have this dance in Memphis that we've been doing since like the 70s, and they tried to say we took it from New York and we had to prove them wrong. But other than that, I just
You,
let
you,
them do their thing.
Wait,
you
wait,
talk about
wait. I
that
got a
Memphis
question.
juke?
Yeah,
Memphis Shook?
Memphis Juke and Gangsta Walking, Bucking, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, we've been doing that since the 70s. And
Mhm.
back, I believe this was the early 2000s. We had some New York people tried to say we stole it from New York.
Can I ask you a question? Do you know the
Yeah.
background of those New Yorkers? Do you know if they were
No,
foundational?
this was on YouTube. I don't know. I don't know none of them. I just know that they was New Yorkers.
Okay.
The
All
only
right.
one that I can remember, like, I think he went by Ghost. He was a dancer in New York, and his name was Ghost. That's all I remember. And he actually ended up battling this dude named G Nerd from Memphis.
And he
But
lost.
I didn't know none of those people.
Like I'm like he lost. So New Yorkers are arrogant. We are, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. We are. So here's my issue. Story guy admits that he would poke at the South and say funny things, right? Um, Me and my friends just didn't talk about the South. I don't know. That's me. That's my experience. It just sounds like, and you don't know anybody from New York. So, like, if I call FBA prime time in here, he's from the Carolinas, Carolina to be specific. I forget which part. He has family in New York. So, different Southerners will have different outlooks, and you don't have nobody whose migration path is New York. Can we be cocky? Yes. If you look at my top 20 list, you'll see that it's all old school New York, but I do love T.I., right? And I think I had Scarface on there, like the Scarface Ghetto Boys. Scarface is what, from Houston or something like that? But if you look at Keisha, a thorough Black Talk World Views comment, when you said that it's like New Yorkers don't care about ethnicity, she says wrong. We do and did care about ethnicity. So we do care about ethnicity. And
We care.
we care. We really do. And New Yorkers will walk around. This is a New York thing that Black Americans probably started. Where you from? So you Black too? You know what I'm saying? So we care about ethnicity because we've been faced with anti-Black American hatred here, right? Now our children are faced with where you from, and they be like, "Oh, I'm Black American." No, but where you really from? Like they think everybody has to be bi ethnic or be an Afro Latino or Afro Caribbean. So there's dynamics that because you don't know anybody from New York, you just get the surface level, right? You get the, oh no, we started that. Oh no, you didn't, and then y'all got a battle and stuff like that. But there's an element. I could spot a cosplayer. Why do you think there's people who come to me like, BX, I was on this panel and this lady said this is how y'all do it in New York. This is how y'all cook y'all food and stuff like that. But I think she a Tether. And when I answer the question for them, they be like, I knew she was a Tether. So we do care about ethnicity. However, we're still loving, kind, and they think we don't have no Southern hospitality. But we do have Southern roots and we do care about people. So even though we face those type of things, and I hope I'm expressing it right, we also had an element of we understand the system and we're going to help these people fight the system. So Pan-Africanism was able, please mute Red until I finish. Pan-Africanism was carried by
Somebody
us
phone
because
messing up.
those who could be deported, I'm gonna mute you. So because those who could be deported wouldn't fight for themselves. So when Keisha says we do care about ethnicity, Keisha was very big in the Pan-African movement. I follow her on YouTube. She tells the history of Pan-Africanism in New York, and she even interviewed with me on my panel, and I have the video up on YouTube. I'll send it to you just so you could get a better understanding, is that we always cared about ethnicity. We just went at the system most because until recent times, for me personally, I didn't exactly think that me fist fighting someone was the result of disdain from their nation or their island. And that would be exhibited in locking us out of home ownership, locking us out of the government. Like I just thought it was two people going at it, and just one happened to be correct. Stuff like that. But that's my experience. I don't even know if I'm explaining it correctly to you. But even though I had Caribbean friends and stuff like that, I'm still and Latino friends. I'm still the Black American they're gonna call to make some macaroni and cheese because they like my macaroni and cheese. And no, that's not their thing, right? So my son, he does a form of urban farming. He came home with some collard greens, some spinach, and something else. So I was like, I don't want all them collard greens. So I said, give them to the lady outside. She's Latino, y'all. Give it to the neighbor. So when he said, here, miss, he said her name. I don't want to say her name because I don't know who know us on this app. He said, here's some collard greens. She said, oh, no, I don't cook that. So I said, well, give it to such and such. The such and such is the Black American who's also indigenous and says, I know I'm indigenous. You know what I'm saying? And she's an older lady. And he said, here, miss such and such, here's some collard greens. She's like, oh, yeah, baby, I take those. So we do understand that in certain households, in our areas, Black Americans have their own culture. Part of our culture is cuisine, and a Puerto Rican can't cook collard greens like us. They won't even take the collard greens and cook them themselves. Get it? So we do care and we do understand. We do know. We just was thinking it was all of us against the system, despite fighting each other from time to time. But we do understand microaggressions. And I think that's why I'm able to admit everything. I can have individual relationships, but collectively, there are people arming for us. And now I'm realizing how deep the betrayal went, besides name calling. See how that works?
Wow,
Yeah.
I never knew y'all dealt with anti-Black American, had anti-Black American attitudes towards y'all in NYC.
What?
Oh.
What? Hold up. Hey, you know how many times I got bust
I'm 65. I remember I moved to Staten Island from Brooklyn. I don't care. And I got bused to school. They still had busing in 1974. I went to Newt Up High School, and we always listen. I'm proud, and not to be racist, because I had so many fights, not just with white guys, racist white guys. We had to fight them all the time. In fact, I'm gonna go back to the beginning of hip hop and Disco King Mario, the Black Spades in the Bronx. The reason why they started the Black Spades, they'll tell you, you can find them on YouTube. These young black kids, they was like 10 to 13. They were New Yorkers, a lot of them they were New Yorkers with parents from the South. I'm gonna keep saying that. But they were New Yorkers, right? And they started the game. I should see the Black Spades. I was like 10. I didn't know why they was there. They started them specifically to fight, to protect against Italian Americans and the Puerto Ricans who would jump them when they would go to a certain neighborhood. The Black Spades was formed to protect Black Americans from Puerto Ricans and Italians and white people. And back to the ethnicity, we were arrogant in New York, and even though we looked at ourselves as, you couldn't speak about the South, but we could. So we still knew, we were arrogant, like, yeah, my mother from the South, but we looked at ourselves as more New York, and that's, other foreigners feel that way too. A Jamaican in New York, they will feel they're more, New York make you get arrogant. They'll feel like they're better than Jamaicans. They won't admit it. And the Puerto Ricans in New York feel like they're better than Puerto Ricans. And the Black Americans in New York, I'm not saying it's right. Just listen. Classier and evolved.
I'm like, go ahead, get it out.
So that's what it was. We thought we were more evolved, more sophisticated than our Southerners, but you couldn't talk about Black Southerners. We could. So we wasn't against the South. Nobody, a Black American could speak about the South bad, but nobody else could. Yeah, that's how it was. And we didn't speak about the South bad.
I get what you're saying. I could fight my sister today, but you better not touch her tomorrow.
That's all.
Yeah.
That's all. We knew we was Black. We talked about Martin Luther King. We talked about we knew about Harriet Tubman, and we knew about that. We wasn't stupid in New York. We just got caught up in thinking, and you know that's true because you got people all the time, they knew New York and they lose their minds. So yeah, that's how New Yorkers was arrogant. New York will make you arrogant. Something about it. Atlanta got it now. A lot of Atlanta's becoming arrogant. I love
Even
it.
the
That's
rats are arrogant up there in New York City, man.
Huh? What?
I said,
I heard what you said.
That's right. Even
I said even.
This is important. Let me tell you something. Do you know New York is not number one on having rodents, honey? That is Chicago and Los Angeles.
I got you. I want to throw it.
I gotta say this. I was so tired of that narrative when I'm swinging in the comments section on the post and they New York rats this, New York rats that. So I looked it up. Who got the most rats? And Orkin in October 2023, I gotta check the list again, okay? Said Chicago and Los Angeles had the most rats. And in New York, it's not even the city that got the most rats, it's upstate New York.
Really?
But New York has the most arrogant rats, though.
Even the squirrels are arrogant in New York City.
You missed the joke. That was a good laugh. He's saying New Yorkers are so goddamn arrogant, even our rats are arrogant. That's so it's a joke.
I know, but the squirrels
funny as hell.
Too. Let me tell you something. I was walking, I said to my son, why don't the damn squirrel move? And it was a black squirrel. He said, Ma, that's a black New York squirrel. It ain't going nowhere. Usually they scurry past you and stuff. I'm just walking, and the squirrel wouldn't move. I said, why the damn squirrel won't move, y'all? Because I'm scared of them. I don't want them jumping on me, you know. So we are arrogant. We are. And so, well, what do you think now, Basic, since meeting New Yorkers? Do you think that we're A1, or you think we still have some type of disparaging feelings towards the South?
Man, the people that are cool are cool. I think you can't really, well, I guess you can generalize, but you know, like I take people for what they are. Like the people that I meet and the people that I know, I judge them based on what I know about them. But if I give a general consensus, because I still hear some of the same stuff, like about a week ago, I was on a panel and these was Pan-Africans, Black Americans, and one of them literally told me he was mad at me because I'm FBA, and this dude literally said, "Oh, you from the South? No wonder. We got to give grace to our Southern brothers. They a little slower than us up north."
You got
That's
it to
literally.
me. The answer to that, I wish it was me. See, I would see that's knowledge is key, and it's about like New York. You know about playing the dozens. That dude, that's a dirty dozen. He's playing like he was like snapping on you. That's what he was doing. He's snapping. He's snapping. He was like, yeah, the South. I wish if you could, I would have found a good snap on him. But also, a lot of the Black American New Yorkers are cosplayers. A lot of them are not us. They either have career. He might have been all FBI. I'm not saying he wasn't. But whenever you hear New Yorker, you really got. I'm telling y'all, please tell your friends. You got New Yorkers who you might assume are Black American, and their parents, they were born in New York, so they might even be second generation immigrant, or half. So pay that attention. And so this one to say that all New Yorkers who may seem like they're FBA or Native or ADOS, whatever you call Freeman, all that's good with me. They are not really us. And I didn't know it either until later in the years. I'm like, oh, okay. So just keep that in mind. New York, you got to kind of...
So in other words, they Tethers from NYC.
I mean, and
but
look,
a lot of Tethers from NYC who won't tell you they Tethers.
That's why I said, I just base people. If I know you, I know you. You know what I'm saying? But if I'm gonna give a general consensus, I believe from what I gather, not Memphis. New York is kind of like a Pan-African place. Still, one dude that I do know, he's from New York. I never met him in person. I've known him over social media for years, and he's from New York. He's from Jamaica, Queens. And I actually had a conversation with him and two more New Yorkers. He felt the need to bring two more New Yorkers on the phone because we was having a conversation. And this is what they were telling me. And these are Black American New Yorkers. They were telling me that Black Americans are the minority in New York, but other New Yorkers say Black Americans are the majority.
Okay, so first of all, I got to tell you, I get my information, I trust my information from the U.S. Freedmen's Project, right? So that's Keisha, Divine, Brooke, Brother Melrose, even if they're not, and Lady La, even if they're not formally a part of the U.S. Freedmen's Project, they are making strides in New York, very tapped into New York. I can tell you that foundational Black Americans outnumber the Afro-descendant immigrants in every state, and that does not mean that New York is not a part of that number. So here's the issue with New York, right? We were raised by Southerners. Some of us did lose a little bit of our connection to the South. I mean, as far as going back and forth. So for me, once I got a certain age, my granny moved back to New York because her husband transitioned. He passed away. And she came back up here because most of her daughters were here at the time. I was here with my father at the time. She didn't want to stay in the South by herself, right? So she came back. We never went back to the South until I was in my late 30s. And my son, I might have been in my early 40s. In 2016, I went to the South because New York rent prices were hiked so high. I was paying all my goddamn money to the landlord, and he was a slumlord. So I moved to Georgia for like a year.
You had Pika? Remember Pika?
Oh, you got family here in GA?
I have family in Georgia, yeah, but I moved down there because when I was a little girl, my granny told my father, I'm taking my granddaughter with me, and we lived in the South. And it was Georgia that we lived in. So I still remember the air, the way the air smelled, the pond, climbing trees. Like I was a little tomboy. I still remember life in the South as a little girl. But she sent me back to New York when they started unaliving the children there. Now, my grandmother is very over focused on, especially on me. And so we could have been living in Decatur and it happened in Atlanta. She was still sending me home.
Oh, you talking about the Atlanta
from
child unalived?
Yeah.
That's when I moved. That's when I was living as a little girl with my granny. And and she sent me back home to New York with my dad.
Yeah, my parents were in their teens when the Atlanta child unalived is what happening back in the late 70s, early 80s.
Right. Because by 1980, I was in school, and my father put me in Catholic school. But I lived in the South as a
Hey,
child.
let me add. Hey, so
Wait, let me get this out. Then my granny sent me back home to New York, and when she moved back, like she would come, take me, we go visit her favorite auntie who was still alive at the time, right? My great aunt in South Carolina. So we would go, from New York to South Carolina to Georgia. Like I just had a connection to the South because of my grandmother. But after a while, after her husband transitioned and her favorite auntie transitioned, we didn't visit the South again. And she passed like in New York. And then in 2016, I moved to the South for a year, got homesick, came back to New York. And then I left a child here who I felt needed more stability, and I'd be able to help him better if I was in New York. My plan
good mama.
is,
That's a good mama. Look out for your
yes.
baby.
So my plan is to go back to the South, and my kids are trying to help me make it a reality. But I don't never want to live in a area that I lived before. I'm gonna go down there
I
and
love
have
the
my own
South.
land and my own house. So
Basic.
that's my goal. So I'm thinking that I'm thinking that some of us lost a bit of connection to the South, so that's why they act stupid and say certain things. But then you have the
That's
New
what it is.
Yorkers that have a connection to the South, and we're more like story guy. But even then, that story guy and his story, right? So didn't have a lot of people that would talk about the South. And matter of fact, one of my best friends when I was a child, her mother was a migrant, she migrated up from the South. So she still had a slight Southern accent and stuff. So we just didn't have a need to talk about the South was this and the South was that if we're being raised by Southern grannies and Southern mamas. So I don't know.
I think what it is.
I don't
I
know the
think
type of New Yorkers you're
when
meeting, but they could be cosplayers or they could be Black Americans who don't know or understand their migration path because they lost their connection to the South.
so
I'm
from
gonna
my
leave it
understand,
there. Yeah.
nice one, bro. Good information, baby. From my understanding, the majority of the Black Americans in New York actually live in upstate New York and not New
No, they
York
live in the
City.
city.
Oh, okay, all
I
right.
mean, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of blacks in Buffalo too.
Yeah, that's
That
what I
rap
was.
group Griselda, they're going to be more FBA, probably. I would imagine Buffalo got. I would imagine, but Tethers. But immigrants follow us everywhere. My story. My mother. She used to come. She bought us. We kept a connection with the South. So that's why. But I still was an arrogant New Yorker. I'm using arrogant. Don't take that too deeply, because I mean, like I said, so I had a connection to the South. We would come. Oh, I remember I used to go back. Listen, I remember I went back to New York City one day when I was 10 years old, and I went back and all my friends in Sumner Projects, right down from Sumner Project, Tompkins Project, Marcy Projects, where Jay-Z from, and whatever. So I was telling all the black kids in New York, yo, Atlanta is the black capital of the world, because I knew the first time I saw black store owners when I came from New York to down south, all the store owners was black. I saw black home. I didn't see this in New York. I really thought we all lived in ghettos
Where
until
the hell you live? No. I ain't gonna
Listen
let
to
you
me.
do that to New
Let
York
me
because
tell.
my aunt owned the store, my uncle owned the nightclub,
Okay.
and
How
a
old are you?
taxi
How old
stand.
are
They
you?
are foundational.
How old
You
are you?
making it seem like we didn't own nothing.
Well, I'm giving you my experience,
Okay,
baby.
that's his experience, y'all.
Listen,
That's it.
and that's important. I'm not dogging us, and you
Okay.
helping me. Listen, in Brooklyn, all the store owners in Brooklyn, when I was from 10, 11, 12, 13, I never saw black. It's messed up. I used to wonder why all the Puerto Ricans had the stores.
Nah, you
Listen,
capping. You
huh?
capping.
Well,
Before the
listen.
Puerto Ricans owned the stores, the black people owned the stores. You
Well, that's
capping. Where you
good.
grew up?
Listen, you think
I
I'm
want to
making it
know
up?
what street you grew up on. Where
I
you
lived
grew
on
up?
1043 Myrtle. And listen, listen.
Myrtle and Bushwick? In
No, Murder in
Bushwick?
Broadway. Where we used to sneak on the train and we listen. Before I go on, I'm glad you're telling me. So I'm not saying. Remember, I said I don't mind saying I'm wrong. I'm happy to This is the first time I'm hearing it. Listen to me. I stuck in stores. I stole. I didn't see black stores. Let me tell you. And I'm
Man,
60.
get out of here.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So you think
Myrtle and Bushwick is that's Bushwick, right?
They call it's Bushwick, and some say it's Bedford Stuyvesant, whatever. It's one of the two, Bushwick, Bedford Stuyvesant. I don't know because I think we're on the border. But I used to sneak on the J train. Remember Macy's downtown? Remember Macy's?
Lord.
Remember the Macy's? Remember the M train? Remember the L that go from Broadway down to Macy's? All right. So all I'm saying is now you're teaching me something. Y'all have black store owners in Brooklyn?
So you
I
I'm
don't
from
know if he
Harlem, my
telling the
guy, the
truth or
Bronx. Yes,
I
we
don't know if he
did.
telling the truth or y'all trying to save face.
Ain't nobody trying to save face. Like,
Well, look, let me go on. Look,
okay,
I'll tell my
hold
story.
on.
Let me go.
Let's
Look,
not start. Let's go back to the Harlem Renaissance. You already know what type of time New York City was
that's a good
on. So
point. That's a
stop.
good point. That's a good
Stop
point. But
that.
look,
Stop that.
Harlem is a whole. You're right. That's a good point.
Stop that.
Harlem was like that. Harlem was the most of the arrogant. They was. If you was from Harlem, you was super cool. Like yeah, and niggas from Harlem, they was.
Oh,
This is my.
Lord.
This is my thing. Niggas from Harlem. Oh, sorry, N-word. Brothers from Harlem,
Lord.
they was the super cool dudes. So I'm sure
Brooklyn
that
is whack. Brooklyn is whack.
I don't really care. I love all black folks. But I didn't see no
Talk
store
about
owner.
Bed-Stuy ain't have no black-owned stores. You
I didn't
crazy.
see none, man. What am I tell you? Now I feel bad because like y'all, I can't change my
Nah,
story.
don't come in here with all that.
Wait a minute. He did say according to his memory, and then he went to 13 years old. So
Yeah,
maybe
right.
his first memory
You
is
and maybe
Latinos, but I gotta tell you, even then, that's questionable because Black American stores are still in existence, right? We just don't own the corner stores, but we still own restaurants and stuff.
well, I'm talking
So
about corner store. I'm only talking about corner stores. Corner
Lord.
stores. I'm talking about corner stores. I don't remember the other stores.
I can't
My
save you.
memory
I
is
can't save you.
my
I
memory.
can't
Okay,
save you
look,
because
Right.
Miss
let me
Moore
go
seems
on.
like she ain't playing.
But I would go back to New York and I would tell them that Atlanta's the black capital of the world because that's when I saw black pharmacists. I remember that I was like, oh shit, look at black pharmacists. And I saw black store owners. And I remember I was in my cousin's house. They had their own house. Remember, and like, wow, they got a real house. They got cars. So y'all can laugh at me
Lord.
for being poor. Yeah, I was poor. But look, the point is, that's what we want to do. Hey, I don't mind laughing at me because you got to give it, you got to take it. So if there's a moment to laugh at me, get me good, but don't deny my story. Get me good. Call me with your, I'm telling you that I didn't see black. The first time I saw a black store when I was going to see my father in prison, and I was in Harlem, and I walked into the store, and I remember I was I probably was 8 or 9. And I saw a black lady with a white robe on. It was a Nation of Islam. I didn't know what it was. And it was so clean. And I'm like, wow, look at this black store with a black owner. Look at that black lady. That was the first time I remember seeing a black store in New York, that when I was in Harlem waiting to catch the bus to go upstate to see my father. That's all I'm telling y'all. And I remember that memory clearly because I'm like, wow, a black person with a store. Maybe if I had went into more stores in Harlem, I would have. Huh?
Were you born in New York?
I was born in Brooklyn Jewish Hospital in 1960.
I'm glad, hold on. I'm glad FBA Built America had this prompt up when you got 3 certified New Yorkers on the panel. Because
Certified.
I know we going by your memory, and I can't contest your memory or your experience, but I got to tell you, we did have stores before he was 13 and 9 years old and
Yes,
every
Lord.
borough, okay?
Remember, I moved to
We had an
Staten
all-black
Island.
town in Staten Island called
Remember, I
Sandy
moved to
Ground,
Staten
and the
Island, so
descendant of Sandy Ground owns a restaurant, a soul food restaurant out in Staten Island too. So I just want to say this to everybody. New York does have relationship with other states people may not be aware of. There are Philadelphians who will jump on this panel and know more Black American history from New York than me. Okay, and we do know that what is it? Graffiti comes from Philly.
yep.
Right, so we do have these, and then people from the Harlem Renaissance were actually from Philly.
Yep.
Now their migration patterns, and there's people from Philly. When I say that not everybody had a connection to the South, there's people from Philly that's always been in Philly, and their family's still there. And so we have these connections with people, and I'm just trying to make sure that nobody is erased. And although I feel like New York is like attacked the most, and even a Philly person could do something, they be like, I hate them New York niggas. I'm like,
Yeah,
what New
they
York?
blame us.
They from Philly. They from Philly. I want y'all to know that even though there are those out there who may seem to put down the South and stuff, some just don't have the ties or the bonds that the ones who are going to tell you the real story of New York and our ties to the South. Even when I'm arguing with a Southerner, I don't call them slow and I hear some really crazy stuff. I gotta admit it, because I gotta admit it, right? But also hold on, because I can't speak for Story Guy, but I'm gonna tell you one thing about BX is since I've been on this here app and got on this side of TikTok, and I was modding for like Shavu. And we know how he feels. Loves New York, but he's a Southerner. So he'd be like, nobody was listening to that music, BX. Don't you say that, nobody. Me and Shavu had our things. My story, my account of history has never changed. I tell the truth.
You said nobody was listening to what music?
Huh?
Yeah, what music? We heard.
What music were you talking about? He said y'all wasn't listening to what music?
Oh, he's talking about reggae. And then when I was saying don't erase the North and the culture we had here, ragtime. And I think it's swing. It's ragtime and I think swing.
What year?
Don't give me the line about the year, honey.
No. Listen, I love learning. And look, let me.
No, but wait, let me finish the genre. So when I say he'd be like BX, but nobody was listening to that. I'm trying to preserve Northern culture, Southern culture, and whatever other culture is out there. If we're foundational Black American, right? The foundational Black American culture through all regions. But Shavu just be like, no, BX. So what if it was here? Nobody liked that music. So what I'm trying to say is, I am disassociating myself from Story Guy with his account in New York. And BX has been known to be consistent and tell the truth. Some of us, it sounds like basic, going back to his experience, and then I'm going to let Story Guy go, right? I just like to get it out. I'm old. I forget my mind frame, and I'll be having you way down the Mulberry Lane and Bush, and you ain't need to be there. It sounds like you met some Black New Yorkers, if they're really Black New Yorkers, who somewhere along their lines lost a connection with their Southern roots, and so they feeling a little, let me snap out on you, and you probably didn't know they were snapping, but it's okay to go ahead and take their juggler out, basic, if it's you.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah, so, with when he said that, like me personally, I'm not going to disrespect the whole East Coast because of what somebody say. That's fine. Whatever. But I just feel like we just have different experiences. So I think New Yorkers, maybe y'all ancestors, your Southern ancestors or whatever, maybe they came from a different part, because where I'm from, the people from the North who have family over here are normally from either Detroit or Chicago, is what I've experienced for the most part. Now, as far as like, I think there has been tension between, the like New Yorkers in the South. I don't know where it stems from, but if we talking hip hop and stuff, we have to admit that New York, for the most part, didn't like how we rapped and shit. They didn't like it.
We didn't. I couldn't stand.
And it was cool, and I was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Because me personally, I'm one of the people who feel like Southern rap should have never. I don't think we should have been considered hip hop. I think y'all should have had y'all own music genre. Y'all can call it hip hop, and we would have just ran with Southern rap, and it probably wouldn't have been no issue.
Word.
Because I feel like New York booed one of the most hip hop Southern groups ever, and I just feel like that was just terrible.
I was at the Source Awards when you talking about when they booed Outkast. I was there. I got friends.
Wait, we don't know if that was him, because there was another group, Tootsie Roll, that one.
No, I was at
this was
we booed them, and I don't think we booed them. But
listen.
Hold on, story guy. Hold
on. Let him get it out.
Hold on, story guy. Hold on. All right, BX, go back and when you get a chance, go back and listen to Outkast speak at the Source Awards. They are literally getting booed by New York, and that's why. And you're gonna see Andre 3000 is extremely emotional about it.
You ain't got no love for the South. No, that's something I'm getting.
That was Snoop. But
I like when you're on the panels, except for calm down, story guy. Let's get this part out.
I'm excited.
I love
it. I'm excited as hell.
Yeah, but hold
I
on.
know.
But
This is topic.
he couldn't get out what he wanted to say, and that's why he just ended it by saying the South got something to say. That was the
Okay.
I've had
whole
something to
reason he
say.
said that, because he was getting booed when they got their award, and it was New York.
What year
Okay.
was that again? I want to get mixed up. The one I
It
was
was the
at.
Source.
The one
So
I was
the
at.
Source Awards, hold on. The Source Awards was in New York, but all of the North could have been at the Source Awards, correct? Because I don't want to take the blame, but I got to tell you, we are very particular about our music. And
Oh
so I
yeah.
argue,
Oh
we
yeah.
are. And you know what?
Oh
You're
yeah.
right. And Andre
Yeah.
3000 did say the South has something to say. I'm going to tell you where some of the tension came in at, because I spoke to New York hip hop artists today. They're actually on this app. They're two brothers, and one day we were talking, and I was like, "Well, you know, it couldn't have been blah blah blah." And he was like, "I got to tell you, BX, there's times that New York was shut down. People who wanted to perform. We do know that Pimp C, and he didn't even call it hip hop. I think he called it country something.
Country
But
rap
anyway,
tunes.
Well, I
right.
love Pimp C, boy.
Okay, wait. So Pimp C had an experience with New York rappers or something, and he made some statements. So for me, this is how I feel about it, right? I'm going to defend New York to the unaliving of me, right? My whole hip hop artist list is filled with New Yorkers. I did like the Boss, DOC, certain music from the West Coast and the South send me screaming, right? But I am a New Yorker at heart. I love the New York sound. However, I'm not the ones, and people that we know weren't the ones locking them out of opportunities. So those who were trying to be like bullies and say you can't make money here and stuff like that, I think that they did us a disservice, because the South is our people's, and when it comes down to that, I don't think they should have been locked out of opportunity. So we got to take the L for that. Moving forward, though, I would like to remind everybody that is industry politics. We got to put the industry politics to the side, because I see the way some creators make their content about New York. Like, they couldn't wait for New York to go through something. Like, one guy was like, you know what? We thought this was bad, but we really need to look at New York. I mean, he was all, and I was like, wait. Yeah, that's right. New York ain't there. They ain't got this. And I'm like,
They
whoa.
still hurt
So,
Hey,
though.
B,
No,
BX,
listen.
BX,
yeah.
BX. To be real with you, BX. Like I know in the early '80s, uh, and then towards the late '80s, New York did have. They was kind of jealous of the West Coast rap scene at that
Mhm.
time, because they was making a lot of money. You know, what I'm saying, with the gangster rap scene. You
Right.
know, first it was I
Bully
forgot
D
the.
from
Yeah,
Philly
yeah,
who made gangster rap.
yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not
yeah,
forget who made great gangster rap, but go ahead.
Hold up.
yeah.
I think they said what's the I forgot his name. Gangster rap. Actually, man, I ain't gonna get to that. I'm gonna save that for the never mind. Forget that. I won't get that. No, go ahead. That's not. I don't have a good enough.
But Mr.
The
Mo,
record labels gave it. They
because
gave it
Mr. Mo said
gangster
something
rap.
very, very important, right? Because I'm a spectator. I wasn't in the industry. I'm just a fan. But you said that you had a chance to write an autobiography and also help with the hip hop museum. Are you in the industry? Do you know some of we know you know Grandmaster Cass, but I mean like the industry side of it, the real industry side of it. Do you know that history, Miss Simone?
So yes, once upon a time, I worked at Jive Records.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
E40
and
was
that was,
there.
and
A lot
and
of
it's
Bay
so
Area cats
funny.
was there.
Like, I was there, like when R. Kelly came and actually spent the weekend. He slept in the lobby to get put on. So
Era, boy. That's a great era.
yeah, I go way back.
That's a great era.
And like I know like a lot of the pioneers because I grew up with them because of where I'm from. But after I went to a party at Russell Simmons' house in Soho when Baby Fat was first coming out, I didn't like what was going on. And so I felt, it was too demonic for me. So I stepped out of the industry, if you will. So yeah, but I know a lot
Yeah,
of them.
and BX, I love New York rap. I love New York rap, though.
She sound
It's
like
just that
Remy. No, I
they
sound
didn't
like
no.
Simone.
Yeah, it's just that they wasn't, they wasn't giving us the respect
Let me tell you
in the
why when my
beginning.
chance come.
but the South and Midwest gave us respect though.
I got you.
The
Okay,
South and
listen.
Midwest gave us
Wait,
respect.
wait. I kind of want to hear Miss Simone's response to that. Do you feel like New
You better
York
stop playing with her, Basic.
didn't
Do you
give
feel? Do I feel what?
we were jealous of the West Coast and we just, Miss Simone, what do you, because I saw your comment.
We ain't jealous of nobody. So I don't know about jealousy, but I feel like when West Coast rap came out, gangster rap, I felt like we gave it respect. Like, but then you look at Tupac, Biggie, Diddy now, who we finding out was probably jealous of everybody.
Yeah,
But
Diddy started that shit.
I don't know, like, listen, we are one, okay? I give props to everybody, the South, the North, the East, the West. I love West Coast hip hop. Rest in peace, Eazy-E. You know what I'm saying? It's just different flavors. That's all. We just all got different flavors. That's what I feel.
Miss Simone, tell me, the Bronx, listen to this. Y'all gave me the chance. I'll explain to you. I'm not even asking you, give me a pat. I'm going to tell you what the hip hop thing, why we were like that in New York. First of all, New York, when rap started, we was hard on anybody that rapped. We really were. Now listen, don't forget, people get mad. New York, and I gotta get, all right.
Hey,
I
but
actually was,
story guy. Hey, look, Cash was rapping like, because I'm an early '80s baby, and Cash was rapping in the '70s in the South and on the West Coast, in
no,
the
I know, no,
Midwest.
listen, no, I'm not saying that
They
guys
just
wasn't.
y'all had connections to the industry. We didn't.
Well, hold up,
We
wait,
didn't
no,
have connections to the
no,
industry. We made the industry. What you mean?
she's telling you, man, and listen,
They
New
didn't
York
want,
wasn't.
listen, they didn't want rap to leave the hood, if you will, so to speak.
We didn't like the way Southerners rap. Listen,
No,
stop.
don't
I'm
say
telling
Y'all
you.
didn't like
we.
the way
Don't
West
say
Coast.
we.
Wait,
Y'all
hold
didn't like
on,
mid.
Understand?
story
Y'all didn't
guy.
like
She's giving us
Midwest
the
rap.
We
industry
didn't like.
part, not our feelings. She's giving us the industry and why it's not jealousy, that we're not jealous of anybody. Okay,
Yeah, they never listen.
she's giving us an
When
industry outlook. Okay, I wasn't in
when
the
we
industry, but I did like
when hip
New
hop
York rap.
started, I equate hip hop to the way go-go music is right now. So we know go-go music is heavy DC, right? But it never really went national, so to speak, right? Or worldwide. But as black people, we know how important go-go is to the DMV or DC area. That is what they thought about hip hop. And that's how we was embracing hip hop when it started. It wasn't, we didn't say, oh my God, it's going to be like this worldwide fashion, this world, like West Coast and down South, we're going to have these different types of styles. They wanted to keep us in the hood and in the park jams. And Russell Simmons is the one who took it downtown, if you will, to corporate America. And then from that, if anything was jealous, it was like, well, why is West Coast getting money off of something that we created? It's not even about who's the best rapper or whatever, because we all have talent. We're all FBAs in America. So all of that, that's pettiness to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about like what other people think about, Detroit got this sound. Like, come on,
Hey,
they invented Motown. I don't think any
Miss
genre
Simone, I just
could
want to
beat
ask
Motown. Period.
how
Let
did
her get it
New York
out.
create
I
rap
want to hear
when
it.
when
Let
when
her get
when
it
Let her get it
out.
out. Let her get it out.
Let her get
people
it
was
out.
rapping in all
Let
regions
her
before
finish.
rap hit mainstream? They was rapping in all regions.
We
Black
understand that,
people,
but she's
listen,
talking about the
Black
industry
people as
side
a
of it.
whole been scatting and all of that for decades before the 1970s when hip hop as we know it started. So it's a black cultural thing. It doesn't matter if it came from New York, if it came from LA, if it came from Detroit. It's a black American genre, period. Just like jazz. We created jazz. Do you see jazz heads, the older people saying, well, New Orleans jazz was this and, South Carolina jazz was this? No, that's petty. Like, it doesn't
Awesome.
matter. It
Awesome,
doesn't
sis.
matter.
Yep, she's right. I love what you said, and it's all black music. If I get a chance, can I tell you that some of the mindsets of some New York street people, if y'all listen to me, because I remember listen, I don't
Black
know.
American music.
Listen, y'all want the
Right.
answers?
Like
In 1970, when let's remember, I can't speak for the country. That's what I'm saying. And I know black people been rapping for centuries. So we're not talking about just rapping. We talking about I'm not talking about rap. Yeah, we had all kind of rap. The
hip hop is a
Jubilee.
culture. It's not just rap.
Right.
It's 5 or 6 elements to
But
it. It's not just rapping.
when we started making records, and let me tell you, because it is my perspective, and I know the perspective is, I would watch guys battle. It was an art to it. It wasn't just rapping. If you had it in New York, the same way we would, if you didn't rap a certain way, your ass got booed. There's guys in New York who wouldn't try to rap because unless they had, it was a certain skill. And I'm a great singer. I never could get the rap right. So I didn't try to rap. And I would see some dudes rap good, some didn't in New York. And we had to add certain things. It had to be catchy. Sometimes we throw history in it. We
Can
might
I
go,
can I add something to that? Can I add something?
yeah,
When hip hop first came out, the rapper was not the star. The MC was not the star.
right.
It was the
It was
DJ.
DJ.
The
Right.
DJ is the star of pioneers of hip hop, which is why we know Grandmaster Flash, which is why
Yes.
we know Cool Herc, which is why we know Red Alert. It was the DJ. Curtis Blow, who incidentally was under Russell, and Run DMC was under Curtis Blow. They used to carry Curtis Blow's records before they even became Run DMC. They put Curtis Blow as the first, he was the first MC to ever be on national television rapping. And then the industry, corporate America, made the rapper the star. And now as we fast forward 50 something years later, and you listen to these words coming out of their mouths, to me, it was always a plan to get the words out that these people wanted us to digest. But when
Got
it
you.
started, we were partying to the DJs, scratching, playing different songs, and dancing to that. And then rap came. So
Hey,
the rappers were not even the richest or the most famous ones.
Mr. No. Listen, these words here, these are the words what people like me thought was intelligent. When we heard these words, now it matters. Listen to this. 2 years ago, no, when I heard Run DMC say, I went to St. John's University. I mean, we were listening to stuff that mattered. I said, yo, when I heard them say, they started talking about going to college and wordplay and being able to read and write. Even the street kid, that's what we like. So we would listen to stuff they say. If you didn't say it a certain way, it had to be cool and clicking. It was boo, boo. So other people outside of New York might have thought all you gotta do is rap, and they would say, "Hey man, you're gonna get mad at me, Southerners. I'm gonna do it.
Hey,
Yes, I'm gonna
story
do it.
time. Don't
I'm
you
mad.
think they
I
had
go to the
DJs?
show.
Don't
Give me
story
some
time.
more.
Don't you
I
think they
fell
had
on the floor.
DJs in other regions and
Huh?
that was locally stars in other regions? Because I know on the West Coast they used to sell out the sports arena.
What year? What years?
This was like in like shit. If you look on the Wines B YouTube, he talks about it.
Give me the year.
This was
The year matters.
Yeah, I like Warren
60,
G.
68.
Huh?
This shit like 60, 68, 69,
Oh, you
70.
got me then. Hold on. That's a
Okay,
whole different
so
thing.
listen, let me
Oh, no,
help
you
you
going
out,
back far.
FBA Dynasty. Let me help you out.
He said
Yes,
Juwan
West Coast
B,
may have
not Warren
had all
G.
of that, right? The West Coast had all of that because we're talented everywhere. But you cannot take away the fact that New York City put whatever we were doing in every city on a worldwide map. You
Thank you.
cannot take that
You
away from
trying
New
to
York
take
City.
FBA,
Oh,
you dynasty?
I'm not trying to take nothing away
You
from
off
New York.
cold FBA dynasty. Now you trying to give it, bro.
I'm not taking nothing
You
away
off.
from New York,
I
man.
disagree with you, bro. Nope.
I'm
You
just
trying to
saying
take it from New
locally,
York.
even in the
Nope.
South had locally, like people like if you go to their local
So
towns,
say the
like they had
Jubilee
their
started
local.
rapping then. So
But
you would
what
say the
makes you
Jubilee.
think
I'm
we don't
talking
know
about
that
that we
though?
didn't even know. I'm just
What makes
saying.
you think we don't know that, FBA? Like we know
He
what
trying
was
to teach you
happening.
something. You ain't listening, bro. Your
We
pride
was
is
the originators, so we know where all the other people were.
why this guy. I can't believe that. That's the problem. See, I try to when people come
So
and
y'all was young, y'all was 15, 16 years old, y'all knew what was going on locally in Atlanta, LA,
we wasn't
Chicago,
down there. We
We
went.
was
Houston,
10, 11 years old.
We
and
traveled down
y'all knew
south.
what was
Yes,
going on.
brother. My
Y'all
mother
knew what
from
was going on
Georgia.
then.
I
Okay,
traveled
so
down.
let me ask you something.
Wow.
If you use that logic, how will we know about Motown?
And Motown was already popping in the
But
50s.
I'm just saying, How would somebody that's not in Detroit learn about Motown artists?
Yeah, they was already mainstream. Barry
How
Gordy.
you ain't answer the
Oh,
question?
wait.
Answer the
Yeah.
question.
So we're losing people. Hold on. So here's the issue. It's possible for New Yorkers to understand certain things about the South because I just gave my history of living down there when I was a little girl with my granny, and she had to send me back to New York. And that's why I'm so New York, right? So some of us did go back and forth to the South. So there's elements of Southern culture that we got to experience for ourselves. Now, I was too young to know what DJ was doing what when I initially lived in the South. Now, when I went back as an adult, that's different. You get it? So I'm not saying that we know everything about the South, but if it was popping, I'm pretty sure those who were going to the South experienced the local DJs and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because how would they get there? Their
I
family
don't.
members.
Okay,
Okay.
so yeah, I mean, I guess it depends on where you're talking about. Because, like I said, I've
Yeah.
never met a New York person, and Memphis is black as hell. And I've never had no friends who
What
who's
is Memphis migration path?
That's why I said earlier. I said majority of the people here who have northern family members is either Detroit or Chicago.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, BX, I want to get back. You remember hip hop is my topic. Listen, when I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, remember I gave the prop.
I don't know,
South
because
prop.
I don't know if New York should be your topic. Talk about you ain't never seen a black
Right.
store until you.
But look, but hip hop. I might be wrong on the score. Look, I'm okay with that. But hip hop, I'm gonna tell you something, man. The dude, anybody, I feel like I'm insulted that anybody outside of New York would say, "Hey, man, hip hop, we were rapping now." We didn't say you wasn't rapping. You
Look,
understand? There's a certain
Listen, Memphis. Yo, just keep Isaac Hayes and Stax records. Okay,
yeah,
y'all got that.
Y'all playing
You feel
yourself.
me?
You had to have
Like,
a
I
certain,
love Stax records. Stop playing.
the dudes that
And
we saw.
barbecue. Stop
The
playing.
dudes we saw on the streets in different neighborhoods all throughout New rapping, you had to have, it wasn't just rapping, you had to rap a certain the bars, a certain timing to the beat, stuff you said that it was a certain thing that we liked in New York, and then they later on put them on records. We're not saying that people in the South didn't rap at all. We're saying they wasn't going 2 years ago. A friend of mine asked me to say some MC rhyme. So I said this rhyme I'm about to say. The rhyme was deaf and it went this way. Took her to become an MC and overnight became
That's
major
not.
league. So Larry took me
Oh
down
my
south in his
lord.
Cadillac.
Okay,
That
Stormy.
is what we're
Calm
talking
down.
about.
Calm down.
And
The
then
first record
hold
was
up.
produced in New
Oh my
Jersey.
god,
The first
Yeah, and
record
I've
was
been
produced in New
Sugar
Jersey.
Hill Records. I've been to Sugar Hill Records. So what? So in New Jersey, it's in New Jersey. It's New York rappers.
Okay, story guy, man. You be so long winded, bro. Hold on.
Sorry.
So the thing is this, bro. We get it. That's why I said earlier, New York people didn't like the way the South rap.
We did.
So the South got it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all had the industry, we was selling it out the trunk. That's just how it went.
Yeah, that's true.
And the South
Hold it out
still.
the trunk. What are you saying? So there's a timeline in New York, right?
Timeline.
So Mr. Mo has more knowledge than I have, but when I started doing my research, right, and she filled in some blanks for me, I wanted to know who made hip hop corporate that it left the way that it used to be. But before it went corporate, what do you think people were doing? They were getting it out the mud too. They were, doing their gigs and they park jams and selling their stuff out the trunk too.
Great
Basically
point.
hustling.
Great point.
Hold on.
Hustling isn't new to us. However,
I didn't
Curtis
say
Blow,
that.
this is my research. No, because I know the way it sounded, so I kind of want to clear it up. Curtis Blow is said to be, because he was the first one on wax, right? He had the power to commercialize. That's the not go to corporate, but to me they said commercialize hip hop. And so because I tried to look into who Curtis Blow was, could only find out who his mama was and stuff like that. So what I'm saying, and I don't want to go into the history if I don't have all of the facts, but it's a timeline in New York, meaning when they put together the elements, how they started doing their shows and how they started doing the park gyms and stuff, until somebody was snooping around and decided they were going to go corporate or commercialize, and now we're here. And for me, it said the resources I read said Curtis Blow did it. But now Mr. Mole came and said Curtis Blow was actually under, was it Russell or who was Curtis Blow
Yeah,
under?
he was with Russell and them, like, and
Yeah.
Reverend Run and all of them. They was like his record carriers.
I
Right.
remember
And
a
even
time
you know what's
where
real
y'all
interesting too.
y'all had to watch y'all words when y'all rap. Y'all couldn't use profanity in y'all raps
And how do you
at a
know
point in
that,
time.
FBA, if you wasn't in New
Because
York?
no,
How do you know
I'm
that?
saying on the
New York.
mainstream. Hey, no, I'm saying on the mainstream. My New York family on the
Hold on.
mainstream. The
Listen,
companies wouldn't letting y'all use profanity in y'all raps.
New York
And
City is the media capital of the world. Y'all had a advantage. It's okay. It's not nothing to be ashamed about.
We ain't ashamed of
What
nothing.
do
What
you
you
think
talking
that
We're
when
not
about?
it comes
ashamed
to,
of it.
when the
hold
West
on,
Coast
What I'm
rap
because
came,
saying is
it
that
comes
when the
off
brothers mentioning about them selling it out the trunk and getting it out the mud like that,
like NWA,
that's
they
what
was
he
out the
referenced.
trunk with it. They was all at the swap meets out the
until
trunk with
when?
it.
Until somebody who from a record label recognized them and said, we're gonna give you some money if you do. It's the same thing happened in
They
New York. So what if
they
when
No,
had
the
a hit
media,
back
wait,
but
before they
wait, let
met
me
that
get it
white
out.
dude BS.
they
Let
was
me get
getting
it
so
out.
much
What
money
I'm
that he
trying to
wanted a
say is
Oh
piece
my
of
this.
it.
What I'm
goodness.
trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this. We still was locked out of the media. Why you think Puerto Ricans think they created breakdancing? Because that damn movie, right? We know
Ooh,
it was
great
black
point.
Americans spinning
Get
on
him,
their
bro.
head, and they came and appropriated shit
Yep.
and put them as the
Sorry, guys.
representation. So us being the media capital of the world didn't mean shit. We was still subjugated here and locked out of stuff. And we had to
Ooh.
hustle and get it out the mud too.
Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so let me finish what I was
story
saying
guy, he
because
animated, man. We
all
feel
right,
you, dog. We
so
feel you.
I think for the most part we've all heard about, like how New Yorkers were before the industry got involved. I never said New Yorkers weren't
Thank you, good.
hustlers or
Because the
nothing
way
like
you
that.
said it had a little shade in it. I pick up
It
on
did.
shade.
No,
It
that
did. It
no, no,
did.
no,
I'm glad
no,
you
no.
checked
Let
on
Let
it.
him
me
Yeah, he
talk.
repeat
slipped
what
Let
I
him
by
said.
me.
talk.
Hold
Let him
on.
It
talk.
Let me
was
re-
a little
You got him.
shady to me.
It was shady.
hold
It was
on.
shady.
It wasn't. So let me
Let him
finish what I
talk.
was saying. It wasn't what I said because somebody brought up the fact that the industry started in New York or something like that, from
And
what I
it
remember.
did. And it
Okay,
did.
so the point that I was making was we didn't have the industry, and so this is what we were doing. We was selling tapes and CDs and shit out of our trunk. I never said nothing about how New
Hold up.
Yorkers started hip hop.
Selling rap
Let him
out of your
talk,
trunk?
Story. Let him talk. Let him
Okay.
talk. Go
Yeah.
ahead, baby.
So the point is, I feel like based off of our experience here, New Yorkers were like kind of I guess I would call it tribal. Because they was like kind of gatekeeping and shit. You know what I'm saying? You'll have a lot of southern
We were
rappers
gatekeeping. We were. I was.
yeah, so you'll have a lot of southern rappers that talk about it. You know what I'm saying? They talk about how when they went to New York or tried to go to New York, they ran into a lot of
Mm.
a lot of shit. It was they would even say it was politics. They'll
No,
say
we
they
didn't
got to
like the
show.
way it
They'll,
sound, man.
all right, bro.
Let him
God
talk,
damn.
Story. Stop. Come on.
All right, so the point is, bro, when I first was listening to New Yorkers, I didn't like that shit either. But I gave them a chance, and guess what? I became a fan of Dipset, and these niggas is extremely New York. There wasn't nothing southern about their sound. I like D Block. You know what I'm saying? We gave their music a chance, and even still, when the crunk music era took off in the South, really started making a lot of noise, we still embraced New York. You know what I'm saying? You had Jada Kids, Busta Rhymes, and them. They was on the Never Scared remix and stuff. We still embrace New York. The only point I'm making is, from our perspective, New York was extremely tribal. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. Ain't
Take
nobody
that
trying to take
word.
over. Hmm?
Carlos Brody with
And the
Biggie.
West
He
had like a
produced Biggie.
20-year run. They had a 20-year run from like 85 to like the late 90s.
Carlos Brody from Memphis produced What's Beef. And like at least two or three on Biggie album from Memphis.
Yeah, but it was about who when it started, it was a certain way that we really did it. And it was New York City. It was our thing. I mean, it was dudes, it was a way to get out of the street. We got tired of hearing the music, disco music and there was a time when all I listened to was rap because it was something new. We're like, yeah, we finally got something for us. That's what it was. We're like, yo, we like this. And this is only New Yorkers. And then we started seeing people outside of New York who liked it. Then they started those tours as the years going by. And we're just saying where it started, it had nothing to do with South except that our people, if you're going to get deep, our style, our
Story
rhythm, our
time. They was
soul.
selling out locally, man,
And then they started doing tours.
in these black enclaves and these other different regions. They
No,
was
you ain't never heard
locally.
of the fresh tours? You know about the fresh? Do you know about the fresh fest tours? They toured the United States, all New York artists. Then we would go Atlanta, go research. Atlanta, Chicago, the New York rappers was going all over the country.
And
And
I'm
it's
saying
only,
before the New York rappers was doing that locally, the local rappers and DJs was selling out they own, locally in their own cities.
name me a local rapper. Let me get a year. Cause Tom, name me
Man,
a,
look,
You
bro.
oh, no,
I'm
actually
you
not
go,
gonna
you
prove
sit
cut
up
me
you
off.
here.
actually
I'm
You
not
cut
making
me
gonna
my
sit
off.
up
point.
here. I'm
You
not.
cut
I'm
me
Story
not
off.
time,
gonna
you
sit.
making my hold on. You making my point. The point is y'all was embraced. When y'all came to the South, you know what I'm saying? It didn't matter that y'all was from New York, but when our artists tried to go there, it was a different story. That's why I say y'all was
So
tribal.
question. I'm sorry. I get what you're saying. Who was before Outkast from the South?
I mean, you had
3-6
like
Mafia.
you had 3 6 Mafia. They
Weren't
didn't
they
make it.
embraced?
Give their year too.
3 6
It
Mafia was
started
the
like
early
early
You had the
nineties,
down
'90s.
south
Early
hustlers.
what? Early
like
what?
Early
early
'90s.
nineties, like the
Yeah, we
late
talking
eighties,
to
early
dude, you
nineties.
going decades later though, man.
What?
You going
Scarface in the '80s.
decades,
You had Scarface in the late '80s.
right? But remember,
And
you
we
talk.
like Scarface.
We love Scarface. New Yorkers love Scarface.
Right.
We like something. I'm telling you, it was a
Oh
particular
But
yeah,
it
Scarface
stuff
was
Eight
we
means
Ball
that
liked.
good.
Too
and
some
short.
people
JG.
didn't like
Too short.
Outkast until they
You
had
We
bro,
didn't
a
like Too
song
Short.
that was
Oh,
played.
Too
I'm gonna
Short
be
was whack to
honest.
us.
Too short
Wait,
like
story
Memphis.
guys. For
Too
me,
short. You
right?
crazy in your head,
SGK.
man.
I
Too
said to
short is
New
a
York,
legend on the
listen,
West Coast.
don't
Too
get
short is a
mad, man.
legend on the West
Listen,
Coast of the
Wait, I
Nobody
don't want
generation.
getting
y'all
mad.
arguing
You
about
Crazy
Too
in
why
your
Short.
you
I'm
head,
gonna
bro.
make
listen?
this point.
I
I'm gonna make
said
this
nobody
to
point. Hold on. So I can only listen to from the South because I did tell y'all after a certain time I stopped going to the South with my granny, right? So I can only listen to mainstream Southern music. So the radio dictated a lot of my taste. I'm gonna keep it anecdotal, right? But I love Scarface, right? And the Ghetto Boys and all of that. They were in heavy rotation here. I
yep.
also know about the Boss, NWA, DOC. These are people who were able to make it, as Basic would say, out the
No, they had
mud
deals,
into
BK.
mainstream. I loved
That's
No Limit.
payola. That's
And they can't
payola.
even, they ain't the best rappers. Silk Shaka, right? But however, I used to get their DVDs. They used to do movies, and I used to watch their stuff. So to me, it's like I had to start thinking because Outkast, who was before Outkast? Who was? And I like the person
He said
before
Too Short.
Outkast, but
Too
I
short.
don't really like Outkast. I
He
only
said Too
like a
Short.
certain amount of their song. Roses
Independent.
release,
No
no,
record
like
company. Out of this Trump. Y'all crazy
So
in your
I'm
head.
just
Y'all talking about Too
wondering
You
Short.
if
weren't
it was
listening
a
to none of
matter
that.
of taste in that region for some, because for some it could be regional.
Well, all
Yeah,
radios
but
are
we have
paid to play.
Southerners that one moment, Miss Kyla, we do have Southerners that we embraced before Outkast. So
Yeah.
they got booed. I wasn't there, but I didn't really like Outkast either. But I did love Scarface. So for whatever
I work
that's
with
worth.
Def Jam South, but I'm just saying those radio stations are
All right.
paid. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because
So
I'm
that
only as good. If I'm in New York, I'm only as good as what they're allowing on mainstream. Now, today,
right.
with the height of social media, I'm able to actually meet some of the artists, if they pay attention to me in their chat, and I'm able to hear their music without the clean version on the radio, and I'm able to kind of connect to it. Nola, if she's still in the chat, even though Juvenile been out for a while, her and a lady from YouTube got me into just Juvie's music. And so now I'm singing 400 Degrees, like, word, that nigga really said that.
Word up.
And I got
We
that shit
love
blasting in
Juvie.
my house.
Hey,
So
don't
I don't, it just got to resonate with me, y'all. And
right. Hey,
Outkast didn't resonate with me
hey,
at first.
Bronx.
So I'm
Don't most New
sorry, y'all.
Yorkers love. We love cats. It's not all. It was what I'm trying to tell you. We were particular about what we like from the South. The South.
Right.
Listen, a lot of stuff. And my man, he got mad when I said Too Short. I know Too Short is a legend. I wasn't saying Too Short.
Like,
Listen. I was
An
telling you.
independent legend, dog.
Nate Dogg.
What do you want me to tell you?
E40 is
So
an
you gonna make
independent. He an independent legend, dog.
so if I don't
Yeah,
like
I
him,
love
that means you
400
hate me?
degrees.
Hold
Yeah.
up. No, because
I
my
mean,
man got.
y'all crazy in your head, man. He brought something to the game.
Been on
You gonna like
Not
what
to
you hear on
us,
the radio.
bro.
He
Not
brought
to us.
lingo.
The Black American house.
He brought Black American vernacular that y'all ain't never heard before on the East
And
Coast.
we didn't want to
Story.
hear it
That's what I'm saying. That's game, man.
because we didn't like
We
it. If
got
we like
game.
it,
They spitting game, dog. They like the Holla
we like
Hustlers. When you do,
Jeezy. We like
Yeah,
Jeezy.
music
We
with
like
dances
that's
and
why
Juvenile. We
E40
drinking.
like
said.
Cash
That's why
Money. We
E40
didn't
said
like Too
the
Short.
East Coast don't love me, but the South love me. The Midwest love me, but the East
That's
Coast don't love me. But
right.
I'm
Right.
still
We
gonna
ain't
get
like the
my
way it
money.
sound. That's all it was. Some stuff you like, you just like the way it sound, bro.
Nah,
Like,
bro, but how the South can
how you keep
relate, and
saying nah? I'm telling you
how the South can relate, and the Midwest can relate, but the East
because
Coast
they
can't
have
relate.
you asking me. You want me to answer a question I can't answer? Why? I'm telling you what is. You asking me why? I'm telling
Everybody
you.
else can relate in all regions except the East Coast. I
So
don't
do you think?
understand that.
So why you? So why you think?
How come the West Coast can relate to the South music and the Midwest music?
He don't want no answer. He don't want to answer. He just talking. Every
Just
time I answer,
being biased, bro. That was the issue with y'all. Y'all was being biased, bro, until
I
later
just
on in the game.
explained the bias for me, right? I just explained the bias for me, but there were Southerners that we did embrace because I'm only as good as what is being played, right? But Outkast never resonated with me until certain songs that went mainstream and they was in heavy rotation. But I loved Scarface. And I love West Coast,
love
hip hop,
West Coast, man.
NWA. I love No Limit, right?
We like West Coast FBA Dynasty. We just don't like everything you
And
trying
No
to make
Limit
like.
is
We
Southern.
don't like Too Short. Doesn't mean we don't like. We love
I
Snoop in New
never
York.
said I didn't like Too Short.
No,
You
That's
don't like
story
Too
I'm talking
guys.
about
Short?
And
FBA
you
Dynasty.
Hold up
said that
now.
Black
Come
Americans
on
didn't own
now.
stores in New York. So
Yeah, but
I mean,
we
come
like
on,
most of,
y'all.
but the West Coast like most of the
Let me
stuff
stop.
in
Let
the
me not
South.
throw him on.
We like
I
most of
love
the
you,
stuff in the
story guys.
Midwest, and we even gave y'all props. But y'all biased. I don't know why. It's like we understand what they're saying. We can relate to what they're saying. We like, damn, they just saying it in their
Someone,
own. And they saying it in their own way from their region. The South got the Southern accents. They saying the same shit that we going through on the West Coast, and we can relate to it. The Midwest saying the same
We
thing that
didn't
we can
like the
relate.
way Too
I'm not
Short
gonna.
rap. We didn't like his
I
accent.
wanna.
We didn't like the way he talked. What
Nah,
we admit it.
story. I can.
He was spitting that ism on y'all. He
Hold
was
on,
putting that
It
ism
took us
on
a
you.
while to
Y'all
get
because
hear?
used to it.
hold on, y'all, hold up. I just want to chime into what Dicey just said. I'm from the East Coast. I'm from Harlem, right? And to what story guy was saying is true. It's largely is like there might not have been a connection, but to say, I think to your point, right, is there were still uses of like song or slang and terminology. It just wasn't to the mainstream as like a Snoop Dogg or a Nate Dogg or whatever like that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's like because E40 was putting down a lot of
We
different
don't
strikes.
like E40
They
mostly. Am I right?
no,
Am I
no,
right?
no, no. It's
E40
no, no,
is
no.
a West
We no, no,
Coast
no.
legend. He's a
Hold on. No,
legend,
no.
dog. Y'all
Nah,
We
crazy.
know
E40.
this
Hold up,
guy's
yo, hold up,
feelings
y'all,
is
hold up,
this
y'all,
guy's
hold up,
feelings
y'all,
is hurting too much. Damn.
No, ain't no
hold
feelings
up.
involved. That's disrespect to that man.
E40 did get love on the East Coast because people were
Oh, he
using the
did?
slang. People were using the slang from the Bay, bro. That's
Oh,
what I'm
Yeah,
see,
trying
I'm
to
later
wrong
say.
on
on
in the
that.
game,
See,
story guy.
I'm
Later on in the
listening.
game, y'all caught on late. The South and the Midwest caught on early.
Matt, we
Okay.
were using slang from E40, Mac Dre, Too Short. Like we were, bro. Like this, the fashion stuff. We were doing a lot of cultural exchange back then, bro.
I
Can I
feel
ask
you,
you,
but
hey,
I'm just
brother?
saying. I'm telling
Nobody,
story
how old
guy
are you?
that,
How old are you?
his
I want to
age they
know.
caught on late, bro.
I want.
Y'all got it right on time. Story guy in them areas they caught on late with it. That's
Hey,
why they
FB,
was
I still
biased.
love my. Hey, I don't hate my FBA, so don't turn into that. Okay, don't turn it into that. I love my FBA. Don't turn it into that. All right. We saying, and my
Wait, I
brother.
gotta tell nephew this. Nobody. Story guy says that he is 65, and the first time he seen a Black American store was when he went to the South. Please tell him we have been
At 10.
here in
At,
New
no,
York.
Hey,
at
man,
10.
hey, let
When I
me.
was 10. When I was 10 years old, though, yeah. I didn't see
Okay.
one. I didn't see one.
Uh,
I didn't see one in Brooklyn and
Nah,
in Staten
I'm
Island.
50 and I
Hey,
remember
story
stores.
guy.
My
What year you
auntie
started
owned the
listening to Ice
store.
T?
My
Story
uncle
guy.
owned the
Ice-T?
nightclub. But the
Yeah.
Oh,
way he said it, it's like we just didn't have
And Ice
nobody
T, he
here.
was born on the East. He was born in New York. He was raised in the West, though.
who?
Who?
Who raised
Ice
in the
T.
West? Oh, I don't know. Oh,
Ice T.
I know.
You didn't know that,
Ice
huh?
T. It wasn't.
You talking about something
Isn't
different. I'm just
T.I.'s
trying to
father
follow the
from New
people.
York?
I
T.I., his
think
Yes.
dad.
but he went to went to junior high and high school out here though.
Hey, nobody. I wanted nobody because nobody teach me something I didn't know. Listen, that's why I said I don't
Even
mind learning.
Corrupt is from Philly.
Oh, I love
But
Corrupt.
he went to
But
school out
look,
here though.
nobody, right? I didn't know. Listen, like I said, I'm learning. I can't assume everybody felt like me. Like when I heard,
Yeah, Too Short originally
nope,
from L.A. Yeah, that's
listen,
true.
all the
Oh yeah.
people, when I started hearing Southern rap and West Coast rap, when the rap that I heard people, remember I sold mixtapes, but y'all don't care. The rap that I heard the New Yorkers later on in the 80s, 90s, that nobody I know once. I've never heard a Too Short record on the radio. I've never heard nobody.
Because he was out his trunk with it back in the early '80s.
He like where do you think LaRussell and all these new cats got it from? They
No,
got it from Too Short and
what I'm telling you,
E40.
when I heard it, I didn't like it, but it's a bias.
Yeah, story guy,
I'm made
story
a
guy. But you
bias.
story what you're
Man,
forgetting.
no,
No,
see, nobody you
hold
understand.
on,
Story guy was out of
hold
touch,
on, y'all.
man. He was an heir
He's
of y'all, so he was like had that
nah.
vibe. He
Well,
wasn't New
he's
York.
forgetting.
It ain't
He
nothing.
It could be that. I don't know. It could
dynasty.
be.
Real quick. He's forgetting about the crate diggers, the people actually looking for the vinyls, looking for the
Right,
records, who are actual true students of the F's. So I
right.
get your opinion about you might not have liked it, but to say New Yorkers wasn't intersected with a sound, that's not true, bro. Record shops.
No,
I remember
not the
record shops in
South.
the
Now, don't
hold on,
change the
hold on,
words.
hold on.
Not the South. I said
I didn't say
artists.
this.
No, look, nobody. I'm not
I
talking
said
about
the
your
Bay.
era. I'm talking about his era. I'm not talking about. I know your era was on
But
point.
even in
His
like
era.
but Dynasty, like in the 80s and 90s, even like the mid 80s, they had records from other regions.
Yeah,
It's particular record stores,
people got a
especially in
hold
the
of
East
him.
Coast.
Yep,
But
yep.
unless you were like an actual hip hop fan, you wasn't really checking for other records from other regions like that.
That's
Nah,
If you
all I
wanted to
was
be
saying.
regionally
not
biased, that's
not in
one
his
thing.
That's
But
mind.
all
I
I
don't
was
think
telling
so.
my
yeah,
man.
that's some East Coast, that's some New Yorker shit though.
It's in New York, yes, that's the whole point. We're telling you, we were very particular, and some of them we accepted. Like Too Short, Snoop came in on the bomb. He was left from the beginning, as far as I know. I could name a lot of West Coast rappers that was left from the beginning. I was specifying,
But all
and
them
I,
rappers you talking about, they liked the East Coast shit from back in the early '80s, late '70s.
you saying they like East Coast stuff?
Yeah, they was listening to that shit too, like
No,
giving
no,
y'all props, giving
we
y'all
know.
props.
Listen, we know that y'all were listening to our stuff.
But y'all wasn't listening. Y'all was biased against us. That's where the
Yes,
divide
but
that came
why
in.
you still mad about that though?
No,
That's what we
I'm just
talking
letting you.
about.
I'm giving you a history like that. That's what it was on
But
that.
we already know that. That's what we're saying, bro. You're repeating stuff like maybe you had some trauma. You keep going. We're saying
I
yes.
don't know what trauma you talking about. I'm peace and I'm all right.
We're
It's like
saying
you said you didn't see
we.
no black stores in your own city. Like I mean that's crazy. How you grow up in the '60s and you don't see you see one black store out of
Not
all of
one.
them.
Not one.
Man, you had some trauma then, bro.
Hey,
That's
I accept
crazy.
that. But see, I accept that trauma. If you call that trauma, I take that. I take that. That's a part of it.
He said he ain't seen no pharmacists. He ain't
I
seen
ain't
no
seen
doctors.
nothing
You ain't
until
seen
I
no
came to
doctors.
Atlanta.
You ain't seen no black folks own homes then.
In Harlem, I did. I seen Harlem. I seen Harlem stores.
Oh,
Yeah.
you grew up in the projects then.
I
Okay.
grew up in the
All right.
projects. I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in the slum.
Damn.
But
I
I
feel you,
had
dog.
access. My aunt across the street, she lived in a nice project, so we hung over there. So I didn't want too many people to know where my bummy building was. But across the street, So yeah, it's just all good.
I mean,
But
you got
that
projects on the
happened.
West Coast, but you still had a gang of black folks that own homes and
That's right.
was in the
And when I
military.
came, hey brother, that's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I said. And you think I'm the only one? So there's black kids who didn't see homeowners until they went to certain parts. You're not against me. You're actually saying what I'm saying. I didn't say that black folks was. You all over the place. We're talking about hip hop, and you're going. I
Hey, look,
acknowledge
I'm
that.
gonna tell Miss Simone. Look, they were saying hip back in the '50s doo wop thing. They were using the word hip back then.
That's right. They
So I
call it
don't know
hip.
how just New York created hip hop.
You
They
got
were
a
Stop
saying
it.
that.
problem with New York.
I seen
Stop
some
it.
old videos. I seen
Stop
some old
The
it.
lady
videos
from the
in
record
the doo
company is
wop
talking
days.
You
to you.
already
Miss
know
Simone,
what
I
I
seen some
mean.
I'm
old
not messing with
videos
him no
that was
Stop
more. He's
it.
saying
gone. I ain't
Stop
Pig
feeling
it.
him
Meat,
no
Pig
more.
Meat Morgan.
Listen,
Pig Meat
back when
Morgan
they
was
were
saying that
saying
back in the
hip,
day.
back when they
Pig
were
Meat
saying
Morgan,
hip
see?
and all of that, it was not to the genre of
Pig
music
Meat
that we
Morgan was
know
saying that back
today.
in the day.
So
It's
In
talking
stop
the
about
it.
doo-wop
what's
days.
He's not listening
Miss
Stop
to you.
it.
Simone. Hold on, wait. Miss Simone is right. It's talking about what's cool, what's current, what's
Stop
popping.
it.
Yeah,
It
it has
was
nothing to do with
not
the
related
music.
to
Yeah.
music. Stop it. Rest in peace, Starsky. Stop it.
So Pig Meat
Love
Morgan was
Bug
saying, I seen the
Starsky.
old
Stop
video.
it.
Pig Meat Morgan.
We already
And
know that, so you ain't
even
teaching
James
us nothing.
Brown, I
We
can
know
dig
about Pygmy
rapping. Like
Market and
this
James
all this,
Brown. We
yeah.
love them.
I
The
think just
tethers isolated y'all from everyone else. Ain't nobody isolate us. We on top in New York City with hip hop. Black Americans.
New
That's
York
why most black
was
people.
just an incubator
bl-
for all the cool shit we've been doing for 100 years plus New York. And then,
No,
like I
now,
said,
Miss
without
Simone, y'all adopted
Majority of
real.
black Americans
Southern New York
still live
Y'all
in
connection,
New
hip
York
adopted
hop would
mid.
City.
not be
Y'all
what it
adopted
is today.
Midwest culture. Y'all
Like
adopted West Coast
you can't
culture,
take one
and
thing
y'all
Say,
without
adopted
the
the
other.
South.
Because
And
I
this
y'all
can't
better
keep
go
generation,
up if
say
y'all all
Compton.
talking at the same
and this
time. Hold on,
generation,
FBA Dynasty. Let her get her thoughts out. Go ahead, Miss Simone.
No, they like you want to come from New York City, like come for us. Like the majority of black Americans historically to this day are in New York City. The majority. So y'all can say whatever y'all want. Y'all can try to put us down. Y'all talking about stuff all the way in the 70s and the 80s. Like, just don't come for us. Like, come on, stop. Don't
no,
come
we
for
not.
us.
We love y'all. We ain't coming for y'all.
Nah,
We love y'all.
FBA, you done
But
showed
what
your
I'm
colors,
saying is
man.
that, what I'm saying, Simone, we love y'all, Simone. We know y'all holding it down out there. But what we saying is nowadays y'all adopted the Midwest culture, down South culture, and then back in the early '90s y'all adopted some of the West Coast culture. That's all I'm saying.
Hold on. When you say we adopted the Southern culture, what do you mean if some of us have ties to the South? So,
Like,
because y'all seem to
That doesn't
think
make
that we
sense.
not up here having
My
family
granny from North Carolina.
reunions.
So how can
Hold
I
on,
take
no,
something
no,
that's part of my culture?
not like that, not like that, y'all, not like that. But what I'm saying
Y'all
is
just
like,
mad we
if this
got money.
generation,
No, but
Y'all mad we got
no,
money.
dynasty, no,
hold
dynasty. That's
on,
what you're saying.
hold on, West Coast got money, down South got
I
money.
agree. No, I agree with you.
Mr.
You
Mo,
right
no,
because
don't get in your
you
feelings
look at
like that. It ain't like that because we
no,
all got money around
dynasty,
here.
dynasty. It's you right because that's something I told a lot of the younger rappers like 10 years ago and even now that like you're not gonna get on trying to sound like the New York version of Future or the New York version of being Playboy Cardi. So no, you're right about that. I'm not gonna hold you. Like New York never we got too repetitive with the boom bap shit and then we didn't create a new sound that could take us into the further interests. I will agree with you on that end. That is
Cause
true.
look, nobody. I remember a time, man, when New York never even had no gang culture. They just had cliques and crews. They didn't have no gang culture down
know
there.
how that
Are
It
you
only had.
bragging about gang culture, bro?
I was
No,
waiting
no.
for
I'm just
somebody
no.
You
I'm
shouldn't
not
even be
bragging
brought that
about it.
up.
No, that's not
No.
what he
What
said.
you
That's
getting
not
for
what
a
he
story
No,
said.
guy?
I
Oh,
That's
understand.
not what he
copy it.
said.
Copy it.
Wait a
Come on,
minute, wait
story
a
guy.
minute.
I got it
Calm
now.
down, man.
Do
Calm
No,
we
you're
know
down.
right.
why that?
He did
Hold
copy that
on,
gang
y'all.
culture.
Let me get my thought out. So, do we understand why? Okay, so Mr. Mo mentioned Black Spades, right? Spades was very instrumental in protection in hip hop. Am I correct?
Yes.
But do we know why we have the Reds and the Blues here in New York? Like, do y'all
Because
really
of
know
the
the history? Not you. I know
OG
you.
oh no,
Mac, right?
my bad, BX.
OG Mac was in Compton with his cousins in Compton, right?
I'm talking about starting from behind the wall when
No,
my
she's talking about UBN getting to New
Oh,
York. That's
that
what she's
started in
talking
LA,
about.
the LA County Jail in 1980 in
No,
1983.
no. I'm
No,
saying, do you
Dynasty, not
understand
that. She's
why
talking
it's
Okay.
in
about
New
the how
York?
the
To protect
UBN got
against
to
the
New
Puerto
York.
Ricans, the Latinos in
Oh,
Rikers
right,
Island.
right.
That's what
Okay,
I
yeah,
heard.
you're right.
So
You're right.
that's start. Yeah. I'm gonna go with story guy, right?
All over again.
So
You
wait, wait,
start
wait,
getting
wait, wait. Let me get my thought out. So there would be Black American men coming up on the yard. I never been in. I don't even work for a correctional facility, but this is what those who were there are telling me. Our men would come up on the floor and just be attacked.
Yep, that's a fact. I've been to Rikers Island many
To the point
times.
where I was about to cry. BX, about to cry, imagining our men just getting up to go do their time and was attacked. So
By
don't, and I even wanted
Latinos.
to know why they were in New York, why I even have loved ones who decided to join that. And then the real started coming out and telling me what was going on behind the walls.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it spilled into the streets. But the Latinos, and this is why I be calling cap on a lot of shit the Latinos be saying. They know they would attack us.
Yep.
And so, especially behind the walls, our men had to form what we now know as the Reds and Blues here in New York. But for me, even though we had the Black Spades, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, right? I was born in 75, but I was raised in the 80s and 90s, right? They weren't prevalent. GANGS wasn't a big part of my life. Like we named ourselves, we had crews, right? And our crews could just be a group of friends. Some of us rapped, some of us was into fashion, some even wanted to be models. And we named ourselves. Mine was BMW, Bronx Most Wanted, right? That's funny because that's my tag name on Twitter and here. But this is my thing. So it's not that we adopted it because we thought it was cool. It was a form of protection for our men behind the walls. I'm just upset that it's still here in New York and there's still a need for them.
Hey, BX, let me ask you a question. When Rich and Alpo was running around New York in the mid '80s, right? So it wasn't no Reds and Blues around then,
No,
right?
we didn't do that back then.
Right.
I'm answering it, and I was surprised when I heard
We
later
was doing
on.
it though. Hey, story God, we already was organized in those jails back then. The essays knew they had to stay over there, and the white tees knew they had to stay over there because it was basically the red and blue was tripping on each other, and the white tees and the Mexican didn't want no parts of it back then.
Your West Coast different. Y'all got your thing on the West Coast. I know
No,
about that.
Chicago had their thing cracking too.
Chicago too with them Spanish people. Yeah, you look. I can't speak for Chicago. Like you could teach me, but we'll tell you, brother. You asked the question. New York City. When I found out New York had gangs, I said, "Nah, we don't do that." Because I'm going back in the '70s. I said, "We don't do that corny stuff." I thought on the West Coast. I was mad. I said, "We got gangs. That's corny." Then I realized with the jail situation, it was necessary. Yes. She told you the truth. I'm like, man, New York don't do that corny.
Hey, look,
we too sophisticated. I thought we was too
Mac,
sophisticated for
they
that.
say today with that, man, because
the
Latin Kings was on the move.
Go ahead, FBA Dynasty.
I was saying that the ones that tied them bandanas on them phones in y'all county jails in Rocker Island, they say today because them Latin Kings and them other folks was plotting. So that was a good move by y'all back then.
So let me tell you what I said when I found out, because the story guy's on some other timing. When one of my favorite cousins looked at me and said that he was a member, I said, why would you do something stupid like that for? We a GANG of our own because my family is so fucking large.
BX, I want to reply to story guy.
I just couldn't understand. Well, I'm gonna get it out. I just couldn't understand why one of my loved ones, with all the family we had, felt like that. But he was also the one that the judge told him, if you bring your black ass, he didn't say black ass. If you bring your ass back here, I'm gonna throw the book at you. So he does have a history of going in and out. So now it makes sense.
Look, story guy. Listen, bro. See, our games it wasn't corny, bro. That came from Huey P. Newton and all them up in the Bay, the Black Panthers, man. That was walking around with their arms, bro, protecting our neighborhood away from the police. Our gangs in California came from the Black Panther Party. That was an offshoot of the Black Panther Party. That was to protect the neighborhood from the white tees used to come around and catch black dudes coming from work, and with their pregnant wives and all kind of stuff. And in the trucks and all that, and they come with bats and chainsaws and all kind of weird stuff, man. And the police was in on it too, bro.
I understand.
The police would arrest a random black dude coming from work and drop him off in a white tea neighborhood, man, hoping he'd get smashed, man.
I know that.
So
you right.
That's the gangs came from the Black Panther Party, Huey P. Newton up there in the Bay in Oakland and stuff.
That's true. It changed over the years.
Miss T in the chat. Am I right, Miss T in the chat?
From what I heard,
am I right, Miss T?
From what I heard.
One at a time.
Hold on. If what you're saying is true,
it's some of it.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say if what you're saying is true, then from what I heard, they was spanking them gang members up in the LA jail when y'all was first coming there.
What?
And who
dumb gang members?
Who? Hey, bro.
I said dumb gang.
You listening to YouTube, bro? Hey, bro, I've been up in them. What the hell is you talking about, bro? Look, everything is segregated.
He listening to YouTube.
Hey, he listening to YouTube. Let me tell you right now. Listen, bro.
When they first came in there.
Listen, this shit been going on since 1969. Since 1969, bro. Everything's segregated, bro.
1 minute, fellas. 1 minute. If y'all hear me saying red and blues and spelling out GANGS, why would y'all say the real word?
Yeah. Go get your live flag. I gotta be careful.
Please, y'all. Go ahead.
I'm saying like this guy, look, BX, I just want to tell him, look, everything been segregated even before 1969 when the red and blue came up in them jails and prisons.
Prisons have always been segregated. Yeah, that's always been the thing.
So like blacks got to go in the cell with blacks. The Mexicans got to go in there with their people. The white tees got to go in there with their people. Even with the Black Panthers has started a war in the prisons and was smashing the police and all that. And taking the white tea, man. Hey, Miss T can tell you we broke folks out of jails and prisons up there in the Bay. And it's
That's
everything
how we.
trickled down all the way to L.A. Man, we've been smashing on that Black Power, Black Panther shit, man, since back in like
That's
the
why.
early
Now,
'60s.
Dynasty. To your point. That's how we got the Black Gorilla family. Like it's just to
There
your
you
point.
go.
All these
There you
things are
go.
these things are connected to what we remember. The like just like the Crip, just like the Blues and the Reds. It's like they were community orientated gangs to protect.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, GANGs to protect from
Yes,
racial
sir.
hatred and what you call it. That's primarily what it was.
Great point. And let me add, so I don't be wrong. FBA Dynasty. I know a lot about the gang, and I respect that. I got it mixed up. Let me say it clearly. I know about when the gang started for the good cause. I guess I was fast forwarding. By the time it got to the 90s, it had devolved. Most of those leaders, they had locked them up and put them in
No,
jail.
before the '90s though, story time. It was in the '80s. It was like how the '80s is like how Chicago was
I'm talking about New
in the
York gangs.
in the mid 2000s. Yeah,
I'm talking
And
about New
you
York
didn't
gangs.
say the word. Spell it
the
out.
game.
Spell it out.
Huh?
Nah,
GANGS.
Oh,
New
okay.
York's the New York Red dudes. They never was on some community shit. They never was. They was on
Right.
some straight up
So,
just yeah. They was on some like fight the. It was prison
right.
policies that bled out onto the streets. That's what
And,
the
and,
different
and
origin.
And that's what I was saying. I know the beginning, what I was saying, by the time New Yorkers did it, they wasn't doing it for that. And I was saying it's corny for the New Yorkers to start just grabbing on something that came over there and just doing. I wasn't saying it was corny.
I always and I always agree with that,
And
my
that
G.
made
I
me
got
mad. I'm like,
cousins who
why
was
y'all,
like,
y'all
yeah,
I'm
it was
like, don't even know
corny.
why they
Yeah,
doing it. New Yorkers, I was so disappointed that New York, I thought we were, remember, our arrogance, I thought we was too sophisticated to just be doing and I'm still mad, like, yo, we doing, because I came from Black Power, Muhammad Ali, all,
Hey, but
rap,
story guy, it was needed though. It
huh?
was needed, bro.
Yeah, I see now.
It was needed,
I
bro.
didn't know that. Now I know why. Because I've been on Rikers Island, but when I was there, it wasn't that bad. Last time I was there was '93, and I didn't notice it because I was a strict Muslim. But yeah, before I came, I like telling them I might be dead tomorrow. I'll tell all my story. And first time I went in, I'm not gonna. And when I was 18, I went to prison. And I was real cool with Puerto Rico. Long story. So I did 3.5 years. It wasn't none of the gang stuff. When I went back the next time in '90. I still it was separate. It didn't have to really be that many gangs. But my son, he teaches me now. He said, "Yeah, Dad, you don't know." He said, "Dad, you got out right on time." So he be teaching me. I'm like, "What they doing with this gang stuff?" I'm like, "You fight, you get a fair fist fight, or maybe I have to stab somebody."
And
But
you know what, story guy, and like how y'all
You
New
gotta
York
say
deep,
Kobe.
y'all deep with the red in New York. It's the opposite in Cali, bro. It's like the blue is the deepest in
I
California.
thought red was deepest in Cali. Oh, it's blue.
Hell, man, you
I
crazy,
don't know. I don't know. You
man.
gotta teach me.
Man, for every red one, for every one red, you got like 6 or 7 blue.
Hey, nobody talk about Chicago though. Ain't they the one
It,
that started that
it
stuff?
probably it probably now probably didn't change. Now it's probably like for every like 3 reds, it's probably like 6 blue now. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to avoid the gang. So I don't want to act like I have a lot of. I'll talk about hip hop. Gang, I know some. That's what I'm saying. I'll go back to that hip hop. I'm gonna make my whole whatever you want to say is. I'll go back to whether New York. We can argue about that later on. But first, we make sure. See whether we debate on which one of us FBA did it. That's cool. If we want to see it the South and North, that's cool. But we got to make sure the foreigners don't slip in. And there's no foreign influence in hip hop. Whether you want to say the South, we work that out. But just make
That's
sure
why
you
we
watch.
on code now, story
Yeah,
guy. We on
that's
code
all I'm
now.
saying.
And
We could
that's
go.
how you bring it back to the prompt.
Yeah,
Right there. Okay.
yeah, that's right. Hey man, can I get out of here?
Can I
Y'all,
remind you
I
for
love
this?
that y'all kept me. I'm leaving now, not because I want to. I'm glad y'all kept me this long with my long talking ass.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
love y'all. I gotta go home and cook dinner, man. That's all. I
I
gotta
know
go
Good
you.
cook
dinner,
dinner for
man.
the
I
family,
appreciate your
man.
But
story,
wait, let me
guy.
say this. Let me
Uh
say this before you drop.
huh.
Our relationship with the South, the West Coast, the Midwest, and all, every
I
region.
love them all.
Wait, I ain't finished. I could argue with my sister. I could argue with my cousins. I could even fight them, right? But you better not touch them tomorrow, or
That's
we're gonna
right.
jump your ass. And
That's
that's
right.
how I look at our relationship with the South and the West Coast.
That's
For a
it.
long time, I thought the West Coast was still carrying feelings. I wanted to visit Cali, but I was kind of scared too. But now I got to tell you, I've met some beautiful Californians, and we actually be in the inbox talking about what we're facing as far as ethnocide. We talk about the bills needed, how FBA can move forward. So when you see a New Yorker, right? Saying things such as, well, you don't know how to dress. You must be a Southern bitch, right? We remember Nigerians said, please know
Yeah.
that's a tether or a bi ethnic.
Oh,
I got to say that. Unless it's story guy talking, then it might be it. But for the most part, we're moving forward. I'm glad we had this conversation. I'm gonna say shout out to the host because this is the panel I wanted to have with New Yorkers, talking about the history and certain things like that. Of course, my Southerners would be invited. So you had the panel that I wanted to plan, and this was beautiful. Even though I'm sensitive about my
Well,
city and
BX, you should
how
still
we're
have that
seen.
panel. You got a way bigger platform than me, so I think
No,
that'd be great
not
if you did like a
really.
part
It's because
two.
I have my YouTube, but I'm kind of strict. So when I started my panels, I had a swear jar. They could cuss, and I don't have tethers coming in and out of my room, right? And our people like to cut up every
Tethers
now
are
and then.
fun though. Without tethers, I can't have no fun no more. So I want the tethers to come. I'm be honest. I'm a bully now. I'm an
Yeah, y'all
FBA
Well, I
bully.
scared
just
them
want to
off,
say that
man.
as
We
long
haven't
as
really
we
had that
know
much
how to be on
opposition.
code, we could talk it out, we could hash it out, but I'm still a little super sensitive. I just want to say industry politics should no longer play a role in how we move forward. We could talk about it, but let's not get stuck there.